but it was also a place where dragons soared freely. N.A.N was equally agile at high altitudes. He flapped his wings and dived down, his dragon claws aiming straight for N.A.N heart. N.A.N neither dodged nor retreated, thrusting her golden sword forward. The tip of the sword collided with the dragon claws once more, the massive force sending both of them back several meters. N.A.N roared, spitting a bolt of blue lightning from his mouth that shot toward N.A.N like a spirit snake. Golden light flashed around N.A.N, and the lightning dissipated instantly upon hitting her light shield. She took the opportunity to close in, her golden sword dancing in a flurry of strikes aimed at N.'s vital points. N.'s dragon tail swept out to force N.A.N back, then he slammed his dragon claws onto the ground. Several blue lightning snakes erupted from the earth, coiling toward N.'s ankles. N.A.N beat her wings to rise into the air, avoiding the lightning snakes. She pointed her golden sword from afar, shooting several bolts of golden sword Kai at N.. Ha ha ha, delightful. It's been a long time since I've had such a satisfying battle. N.' laughed, his battle intent growing even more intense. Girl, take another move of mine, 5th soul skill, Thunderbolt. The electricity around him surged violently as countless blue lightning bolts converged into a massive sphere of thunder, hurtling toward N.A.N with an aura of destruction. N.A.N raised her golden sword high, injecting angelic spirit power into it. The blade shone with a brilliant golden light as she slashed down against the thunder sphere. Boom! The golden sword collided with the thunder sphere, and violent energy expanded in all directions. Lightning snakes danced wildly in the sky as golden light and blue electricity intertwined. The training platform below was flipped by the airwaves, sending crushing stones flying. The watching disciples had already retreated far away, yet they were still shaken by the aftershocks, their blood and energy churning. Both were knocked back by the impact. N.'s battle intent grew even stronger, but N.A.N frowned slightly. That strike just now had made her arm go numb. This thunder power was exceptionally overbearing and indeed difficult to take head-on. 6th soul skill, enchantment, N.A.N shouted softly. Her golden sword was coated in a layer of golden flames, which carried the power of purification. The two engaged again. Dragon claws clashed with the flaming golden sword, blue electricity and golden fire intertwining with a sizzling sound. N.A.N gradually noticed something was wrong. After each collision, the spirit power in his body seemed to be purified by something, quietly draining away. If this continued, it would be extremely disadvantageous for him. He suddenly pulled back, the dragon's scales on his body becoming deeper in color as his aura surged again. 9th-stage dragonification. With his roar, his dragon horns grew longer and his tail thicker. The scales on his body stood up like sharp blades, and the blue flames in his eyes almost seemed to ignite. His spirit power fluctuations approached those of a rank 96 super duello. It's the 9th-stage dragonification. The sect master is using a secret technique. Incredible, this aura is so much stronger than before. Go sect master, defeat her. Seeing this, the blue lightning tyrant dragon sect disciples below cheered one after another, hope reigniting in their eyes. This secret technique actually allows him to temporarily reach rank 96. This will be a tough fight, N.A.N said with a grave expression. 6th soul skill, Thunder Dragon Break, N.A.N shouted. His body turned into a bolt of blue lightning, carrying matchless thunder power as he crashed toward N.A.N. Angelic Domain. White light expanded around N.A.N as her domain instantly unfolded. N.A.N felt an invisible force strike him, and his body was forcibly pulled back to the ground. His originally certain 6th soul skill immediately missed its mark. What a bizarre domain, to be able to directly restrict my movements. Angel Sword Array? N.A.N gave N no room to breathe. Hundreds of golden swords condensed within the domain, carrying a sharp aura as they shot toward N.A.N like raindrops. N.A.N roared, lightning exploding around him to form a blue thunder shield. The golden swords struck the thunder shield, exploding continuously, yet they found it difficult to break through the defense. Eighth Soul's skill, Thunder Hell. N.A.N slammed both hands onto the ground. Countless lightning bolts surged from beneath the earth, forming a thunderous prison within the angelic domain, causing the space to vibrate violently. Although the angelic domain wasn't broken, it became chaotic, and its restriction on N.A.N was greatly reduced. He was finally able to move freely within the domain. The two fought once more. N.A.N was like a fish in water within the thunder hell, his lightning power becoming increasingly violent. N.A.N Renksu, relying on the domain's enhancement, continuously counterattacked with her golden sword, her purification power steadily eroding N.A.N's spirit power. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribers, and share to infinite novel audiobooks. They moved rapidly across the ground. Every collision caused the earth to crack and crushing stones to fly. The training platform had long since turned into ruins, and the surrounding trees were snapped by the aftershocks, filling the air with dust and smoke. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, N.A.N's aura began to fluctuate unsteadily between rank 95 and rank 96. Clearly, the effects of the 9-stage dragonification were weakening. No, in this domain, I can't use my full strength at all, and it's constantly draining my power. He felt anxious. This girl's aura has barely changed since she released her domain. Could it be that this domain can absorb my energy to replenish hers? I must break this domain, or I will certainly lose. Chapter 63, 9 Crowns of the True Dragon, Holy Fusion Technique. Back off! N.A.N erupted with a powerful aura, forcing N.A.N Renksu back. His figure floated in midair as his hands formed seals. From the direction of the 9 peaks of the blue lightning tyrant dragon sect, a beam of light and shadow soared into the sky from each. The one from the main peak was the most solid, while the lights from the other 8 peaks appeared somewhat illusory. In less than 3 breaths, the 9 beams converged in the air, condensing into an ancient crown adorned with winding dragon patterns and flowing lightning. The crown slowly descended onto N.A.N's head, merging perfectly with his aura. It wasn't that N.A.N Renksu didn't want to stop it, but the moment the crown appeared, an invisible force restricted her movements, leaving her unable to budge. This was the 9 crowns of the true dragon, the true foundation of the blue lightning tyrant dragon sect. The sect's ancestors had once obtained 9 strange bones that resembled spirit bones, yet were not. Each could independently attract the energy of heaven and earth. Thus, they were placed separately within the 9 peaks to enhance the energy of heaven and earth within the sect's territory. Once the 9 pieces combined, the sect master of the blue lightning tyrant dragon sect could use a secret technique to briefly fuse with them, causing their strength to skyrocket. N.A.N let out a long howl as his aura surged once more, far surpassing the previous 9-stage dragonification. The violent power of thunder made the surrounding air tremble. The blue lightning tyrant dragon sect truly lives up to its name as one of the upper 3 sects. With dragon transformation and the 9 crowns of the true dragon, its foundation is indeed deep. N.A.N Zunji thought to himself. Although a flicker of a thought to seize the 9 crowns of the true dragon crossed his mind, he instantly suppressed it. Our spirit hall are not bandits. We must act with justification. If we were to seize it by force today, it would only ruin our reputation. Besides, no matter how strong the 9 crowns of the true dragon are, can they compare to the angel statue in the enshrinement hall? A temporary boost in strength is not one's own after all, and its upper limit is clear, at most level 98. In N.A.N's current state, he can probably only reach level 97. He has nothing to fear. The 9 spirit rings around N.A.N lit up again, and the colors of the last 3 rings deepened continuously, finally stopping at a state of black tinged with red, faintly exuding the pressure of 100,000-year spirit rings. Those are 3 spirit rings approaching the 100,000-year level. Can the 9 crowns of the true dragon actually amplify the power of spirit rings to such an extent? The sect master's current aura is likely comparable to a super duo, right? The disciples of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect discussed fervently, their eyes filled with shock and fanaticism. With 3 spirit rings nearing the 100,000-year mark, the 9 crowns of the true dragon is indeed powerful. His aura has reached level 97. N.A.N. Renksu's expression turned solemn. It seems it's time to get serious. 4th soul's skill, Angel Holy Light. Radiant golden light erupted around N.A.N. Renksu. Although her consumption hadn't been great, her condition was instantly restored to its peak. Immediately after, she chanted obscure syllables, Holy Fusion Technique. Her 3rd and 5th spirit rings suddenly lit up. These 2 rings, which were over 100,000 years old, quickly dimmed as their power was drained and fused into N.A.N. Renksu's body. An intense tearing sensation followed. Her brows furrowed and her face turned pale, but her aura more than doubled in an instant. She did not choose to drain the 1st, 2nd, or 6th spirit rings. The amplification effects of those rings were extremely strong. Draining them would actually decrease her combat power. Meanwhile, the recovery ability of the 4th spirit ring was crucial, so it naturally couldn't be touched either. Battle! N.A.N. struck first, his figure moving like lightning as his dragon claws, carrying world-destroying thunderous power, lunged at N.A.N. Renksu. N.A.N. Renksu swung her sword to meet him. The golden sword collided with the dragon claws, producing a deafening roar. N.A.N.'s power was as violent as a surging tide, but N.A.N. Renksu, relying on the boost from the Holy Fusion Technique, withstood it steadily. The 2 exchanged blows rapidly in midair. Every collision kicked up a violent storm of energy, with lightning and golden light intertwining to illuminate half the sky. 9th soul's skill, Thunder Dragon Meteor. N.A.N. roared, and a massive phantom of a thunder dragon appeared behind him, crashing toward N.A.N. Renksu with an aura that seemed ready to devour everything. The power of this strike was too great. It could not be met head-on. N.A.N. Renksu did not hesitate to activate her left leg spirit bone skill, teleporting 100 meters away. Bang! The thunder dragon phantom smashed into the ground, causing the entire area of the training platform to collapse instantly into a massive crater. The angelic domain also shattered under the impact of this force. Exhilarating, truly exhilarating. Feeling the restriction vanish, N.A.N. laughed heartily. The domain is broken. Let's see how you'll restrict me now. He pushed off with his legs, leaving a foot-deep hole in the ground, and shot forward like a cannonball, his dragon claws aiming straight for N.A.N. Renksu's face. N.A.N. Renksu blocked with her sword horizontally. The massive force sent her flying back, but she spun in midair to regain her balance, then slashed upward with her golden sword, forcing N.A.N. to pull back his claws to parry. N.A.N. Renksu spread her wings and ascended, her golden sword drawing an arc as it slashed toward N.A.N.'s neck. N.A.N. tilted his head back to avoid it and swept his dragon tail. N.A.N. Renksu ducked to dodge and thrust her golden sword toward his abdomen. Lightning erupted from N.A.N.'s body, forcing N.A.N. Renksu back, before he opened his mouth and spat out a thick pillar of thunder. N.A.N. Renksu pointed her golden sword forward, condensing a golden light shield. The thunder pillar struck the shield and shattered inch by inch. The 2 went back and forth in the air, the sounds of collision never ceasing. The energy storm swept through the surroundings, uprooting distant trees. After over 100 rounds. Surrender, girl. N.A.N. panted heavily, yet a smile of certain victory played on his face. Your spirit power is nearly exhausted. There's no way you can defeat me. His own consumption was not small either, with only half his strength remaining, but he firmly believed the winner of this battle would be himself. The sect's spirit bones and resources could finally be preserved. Is that so? The corner of N.A.N. Renksu's mouth curled up. Fourth soul skill, Angel Holy Light. The golden light shone once more, and her spirit power instantly recovered by more than half, while her physical strength and mental force also rose. Although the amplification effect of the holy fusion technique had vanished, N.N.'s aura had also dropped to level 96. The advantage lies with me. How is this possible? N.N. was filled with horror. Recovering spirit power so quickly, what kind of soul skill is this to be so heaven-defying? Angelic domain, angel sword array. N.A.N. Renksu gave him no time for shock as her domain expanded again, and hundreds of golden swords condensed to strike at N.N. The power of the domain, once again, restricted N.N.'s movements. N.A.N. Renksu took the opportunity to close in and thrust her golden sword forward. N.N. roared, erupting with thunderous power to blast N.A.N. Renksu back, while swinging his dragon claws to shatter the hundreds of incoming golden swords. Before he could catch his breath, N.A.N. Renksu attacked again, her golden sword carrying sharp sword Kai as it pointed directly at his weakness. N.N. pulled back his claws to block, only to see the shattered golden sword fragments suddenly regroup and stab at his back. He was forced to turn and block, instantly leaving an opening in his chest. N.A.N. Renksu's golden sword was already within reach. How can this girl be so difficult to deal with? Damn it! N.N. felt anxious. Is my lifelong reputation as N.N. going to be ruined today? The angelic domain, combined with the angel sword array, continuously drained N.N.'s strength. After another stick of incense's time, N.N.'s aura had clearly withered. It's time to end this. A flash of determination crossed N.A.N. Renksu's eyes as a massive golden spear condensed above her head. She activated her sixth soul skill, enchantment. The spear was coated in a layer of golden flames, and she threw it with all her might. N.N. crossed his arms, gathering his final thunderous power to defend. Pudge! In less than a breath, the spear pierced through the thunder shield and slammed heavily into N.N. The ground was pierced through, creating a deep pit. A figure flew out, crashing through several walls in succession before coming to a pathetic halt. It was N.N., his breath faint and on the verge of death. Chapter 64. The 7 Great Sects' Responsibility to Spirit Hall. The disciples of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect gradually dispersed, leaving only a few core elders around the training platform. N.N. struggled to stand up, retrieving a 50,000-year spirit bone radiating dense spirit power fluctuations from his spirit tool. He handed it to N.A.N. Zunji, his face pale yet tinged with unwillingness. N.A.N. Zunji took the spirit bone and said calmly, "Sect Master you can send the owed resources directly to Spirit Hall. As for the matter of Yu Xiaoging, from now on, as long as he does not provoke my Spirit Hall, it will be written off." N.N. remained silent for a moment before slowly nodding. "Thank you for your magnanimity, Your Holiness the Supreme Pontiff. Sect Master Yu, I have other matters to attend to. I shall take my leave now. Until we meet again." After speaking, N.A.N. Zunji boarded the carriage with N.A.N. Renksu, N.A.N. Renshin, Yin, Chrysanthemum Duluo, and Ghost Duluo. Ghost Duluo drove the carriage. The wheels rolled over the ground as it slowly departed from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. "Big brother, that's a whole year's worth of our resources. What if we—" Yu Luomian watched the direction the carriage had gone, a flicker of opportunism and a tone of resentment in his eyes. N.N. glared at him and said sternly, "Luomian, Spirit Hall is not like other spirit master organizations. If they wish to know how many resources we have in a year, it would be as easy as turning over a hand. Do not entertain any crooked ideas on this matter. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect cannot afford any more trouble. He gazed in the direction Kyan Zunji's group had left and sighed softly. Spirit Hall has truly produced an extraordinary junior, a mere spirit emperor, yet possessing such combat prowess. In the future, the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect should keep a lower profile. N.A.N. never doubted that Kyan Rengsu had twin spirits. Her spirit power realm was indeed only that of a spirit emperor. Each realm's spirit masters had a unique aura. Even though Kyan Rengsu's spirit power intensity far surpassed her peers, the aura she displayed was unmistakably that of a spirit emperor. As a powerhouse just one step away from becoming a super duelluo, he still had that much discernment. Down the mountain, inside the carriage. Zio Shan, do you have something you wish to ask? Kyan Zunji looked at Kyan Renshin. Throughout the journey, the child's gaze had frequently fallen upon him. Kyan Renshin scratched his head and spoke frankly. Father, the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect is so weak. Their 9 crowns of the true dragon seems like a good thing. Why didn't you take the opportunity to seize it? Kyan Zunji raised his hand. An invisible barrier instantly enveloped the carriage compartment, blocking all sound from inside and out. Zio Shan, our spirit hall is an organization that maintains the balance of the continent. We cannot simply seize something because others possess it. Our every action influences the entire continent. If we walk the path of good, the continent remains peaceful, at least on the surface. If we descend into evil, the continent will fall into chaos, engulfed in the flames of war. But Father, the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect harbors sinister intentions. Kyan Renshin glanced at Kyan Rengsu sitting opposite him. Seeing she showed no reaction, he grew bolder. Their people seduced our spirit hall's holy maiden, stole secrets, and even tried to abduct her. With just these reasons, even if we annihilated the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, no one on the continent would dare say anything, right? You are not wrong. Indeed, no one would dare speak ill of Spirit Hall. Kyan Zunji nodded, then changed the direction of his words. But have you considered this? Spirit Hall, as the strongest spirit master force, enshrines the ancestral god. Under the ancestral god's protection, the direct descendants of our angel clan produce a high priestess every generation, each at least a 99th rank super duelluo. Even at its weakest, Spirit Hall has never had fewer than 10 titled duelluo. We completely have the strength to sweep across the entire continent. Why have we always remained merely a spirit master organization? Kyan Renshin frowned. This question was beyond his age and understanding. He truly couldn't figure it out. Our Kyan family's goal has always been to become gods. Kyan Rengsu spoke, her tone flat. Moreover, before a 99th rank super duelluo, so-called numerical advantages are utterly useless. There's no need to waste time and energy on such matters. Kyan Renshin suddenly understood and nodded. Zuer is correct. When strength reaches a certain level, one can indeed disregard everything. Kyan Zunji added, however, there is one more point. It is our ancestral teaching. The ancestral teaching of the Kyan family has always been to safeguard the peace of the continent, maintain the balance among the various spirit master forces, eradicate the fallen, and give the common people of the continent hope for survival. But Father, what does this have to do with the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect? Kyan Renshin was still somewhat puzzled. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, as one of the upper 3 sects, has over 3,000 inner sect disciples and tens of thousands of outer sect disciples. Kyan Zunji explained, the upper 3 sects and the lower 4 sects were each meticulously selected by Spirit Hall from across the entire continent. They are not only strong in power, but also relatively clean in foundation. They can help Spirit Hall suppress the fallen. Each sect manages a specific region, maintaining local order. Kyan Renshin nodded with partial understanding, while Ah Yin listened with keen interest. She had never heard of these things before. The 7 great sects were all appointed by my Spirit Hall. We have no reason, nor can we afford to act too overbearingly. Kyan Zunji continued. This is also why I used a wager to win their spirit bone and resources. They lost due to their own lack of strength, so naturally, they won't hold a grudge against Spirit Hall, nor will it affect our reputation. So that's how it is, I understand. Kyan Renshin's eyes lit up. Then his gaze flickered thoughtfully. I've grasped it. It's not that Spirit Hall cannot act, but that it lacks justification. If there were sufficient justification, then... Kyan Renshin's thoughts were all written on his face. Kyan Zunji nodded inwardly. This child's way of thinking wasn't much different from N.A.N's. A single hint was enough. He could grasp many things with just a little guidance. It really was convenient. Zio Shan, do you know how many people Spirit Hall has in total right now? Kyan Zunji asked. I know, Kyan Renshin immediately answered, his tone filled with pride. Currently, Spirit Hall has a total of 185,700 Spirit Masters, accounting for about 15% of all Spirit Masters on the continent. The lowest-ranking deacons are at least Spirit Grandmasters. Their numbers aren't huge, just tens of thousands. They are the main personnel who help civilians with spirit awakening. Some newly awakened spirit scholars with talent can also join. Many Spirit Masters wish to join Spirit Hall. Do you know why there are only a little over 100,000 now? Kyan Zunji asked. Because Spirit Hall needs loyal, diligent Spirit Masters, Kyan Renshin said without hesitation. Those with divided loyalties or who just want to idle around aren't qualified to join. A good summary, Kyan Zunji nodded. There is another very important reason, resources. The resources of the entire continent are limited, and Spirit Hall's resources are also finite. The more Spirit Masters who join, the fewer resources each person can receive on average. Spirit Masters are also human. People pursue benefits. Without sufficient benefits, naturally, no one would be willing to join Spirit Hall. People are divided into ranks. Spirit Hall's Spirit Masters are the most esteemed Spirit Masters on the continent. The continent needs the 7 great sects, and it also needs various Spirit Master forces and sects. With them present, my Spirit Hall can have a continuous flow of resources. With them as a foil, the greatness of my Spirit Hall can be highlighted. A look of understanding appeared on Kyan Renshin's face, and he nodded emphatically. I understand, Father, so we must manage properly. We cannot let the subordinate forces become discontent, nor can we let our own people gain no benefits. This way, Spirit Hall can remain strong forever. Chapter 65. The Promise of Tang and Wu, Yu Xiaoging's Shocking Wisdom. Nighttime at Nodding Academy. Tang San looked at Zio Wu beside him and asked softly, Zio Wu, are you willing to be my sister? Zio Wu looked up at him. Third brother, if someone wanted to kill me, what would you do? Anyone who dares to lay a hand on you is my, Tang San's, enemy. We shall not rest until one of us is dead. Tang San gripped her hand, his tone resolute. Then what if the entire continent wanted to kill me? Zio Wu asked again. I am willing to become enemies with the entire continent for your sake. Tang San gazed at her. I will protect you for this lifetime, and for every lifetime to come. Third brother. Zio Wu could no longer hold back. She threw herself into his arms and hugged him tightly. The next day, at the cafeteria, Tang San was well off now and no longer as destitute as in his previous life. He took Zio Wu straight to the second floor and ordered a table full of exquisite dishes. Little San, we meet again. A slightly high-pitched and soft voice drifted over. Yu Xiaoging walked up. The beard on his chin was sparse and looked unnatural, as if it had been intentionally glued on. Grandmaster, what a coincidence. Tang San nodded. Little San, don't be so formal. You can call me teacher, Yu Xiaoging said with a smile plastered on his face. I call every teacher in the academy teacher. Calling you Grandmaster is a respectful title from a junior like me. Tang San's tone was exceptionally flat. Yu Xiaoging was quite pleased to hear this, and his smile deepened. What a sensible and good child. If you have any questions you don't understand in the future, you can come and ask me. I am a grandmaster of spirit theory. In the entire continent, no one understands spirits better than I do. A flash of disdain quickly crossed N.A.N's eyes, but he played along. Indeed, who in the entire continent doesn't know the name of the Grandmaster? Especially the 10 great spirit theories. They are treasures to all low-level spirit masters. Yu Xiaogeng beamed at the flattery. After rambling about some theories for a bit, he made an excuse about having things to do and left. Before leaving, he specifically waved over a worker to settle the bill for N.A.N and Xiao Wu's table. Third brother, that guy seems so annoying. We run into him every day. Why are you so polite to him? Xiao Wu wrinkled her nose, her face full of distaste. Xiao Wu, the Grandmaster, does indeed have genuine talent and learning, N.A.N explained. Even though it's not very useful to me, his knowledge is the real deal. But he had other calculations in his heart. It's true that it's the real deal, but many of the theories are wrong, and many are only half complete, with the rest nowhere to be found. In his previous life, if not for his own extraordinary talent and immense luck, he would have at most become an ordinary titled dueluo based on those theories. Yu Xiaogeng's theories had forcefully lowered his floor. However, he didn't exactly hate him. If not for that, he might not have passed the trial of the Spirit Hall, nor would he have known about the existence of Sea God Island. As a god king, he repaid every kindness and settled every grudge. In his previous life, he had helped him change his talent and assisted him in becoming a titled dueluo. That was already doing everything humanly possible. Although this guy had limited ability, loved to brag, and cared too much about face, his knack for rallying people's hearts was quite good. In his previous life, if not for him, there might not have been anyone to restrain the Spirit Hall and buy him time to become a god. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect is also a decent ally. Although their strength isn't as great as the Clear Sky sect, they are still one of the upper 3 sects. Taking him as a teacher, impossible in this life. His current theoretical knowledge was far more solid than this Grand Moist's. But I always feel like he's a fraud, especially that voice. It sounds like a woman's. Xiao Wu curled her lip. She muttered to herself. She had lived for tens of thousands of years. Though she didn't understand the intricacies of human cultivation, she had seen quite a lot. Like that, there are no trash spirits, only trash spirit masters. If the spirit is no good, how can one even cultivate? Isn't Yu Xiaogeng himself a typical example? And the intensity of innate spirit power is directly proportional to the quality of the spirit. Isn't that nonsense? Who on the continent doesn't know that? Even she, who had only been in the human world for a few months, knew that. And the spirit a child inherits originates from the parents. A strong spirit will devour a weak spirit. Does that even need to be written down? Which school doesn't know that? She didn't even know what to say. Not far away, Yu Xiaogeng looked at the two dining and sighed inwardly. Innate full spirit power. A small place like N.A.N Academy actually has 2. In the entire continent, only a dozen or so appear every 100 years. The vast majority come from the 7 great sects, with a few from ordinary families or spirit master forces. Among commoners with innate full spirit power, according to the records he saw in the Spirit Hall, there were only 4 in 100 years. 3 of them joined the Spirit Hall, and 2 became titled dueluos, specifically Chrysanthemum Dueluo and Ghost Dueluo. There was also Bibai Dong, the current holy maiden of the Spirit Hall, and 1 more whose whereabouts are unknown. Perhaps they died long ago. It's true, even geniuses from the 7 great sects risk falling, let alone those from the wild. It would be abnormal for them to survive. This N.A.N is quite interesting. Yu Xiaogeng sized up N.A.N. Hell man-eating flower, a spirit that has never appeared before, and Xiao Wu, the soft bones rabbit, is actually at innate full spirit power too. I can't see through N.A.N's background. He should be a disciple of some small sect. Xiao Wu clearly comes from the wild and knows nothing. He began to scheme. If I could take these 2 children as my disciples, wouldn't my theories finally be realized? Who would dare look down on me, Yu Xiaoging, after that? I could even introduce them to the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, and maybe the family would restore my status. But he couldn't figure it out. He created accidental encounters every day and gave all sorts of hints. So why weren't these 2 little fellows preparing to take him as their teacher? Could there be a problem with his acting? Impossible. Even Bibai Dong, the holy maiden of the Spirit Hall, could be moved by his words. There's no reason he shouldn't be able to trick these 2 6-year-old kids. Yu Xiaoging's thoughts drifted back several years. That day he woke up from a coma. The piercing pain in his crotch nearly made him faint again. From that day on, he lost a man's most precious possession. After making inquiries, he learned that people from the Spirit Hall had entered N.A.N Academy during that time. The small courtyard where he lived was exactly the one the dean had vacated for the Spirit Hall people. Damnable Spirit Hall, it must be them seeking revenge, capturing me and laying such a cruel hand on me. Every time he thought of it, Yu Xiaoging couldn't help but shed secret tears, his face filled with humiliation and resentment. As for the beard on his chin, it was merely a disguise made from hair. He looked again at the 2 laughing and chatting in the cafeteria, and finally turned to leave. Tang Sen sensed Yu Xiaoging's aura departing, and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Although his mental force wasn't top tier now, as someone who once stood at the peak, sensing someone's gaze was easy. Finally gone. Being stared at by this guy every day makes me feel uneasy. Glad he's gone, he's like a resentful woman. He thought to himself, I'm not that novice spirit master from my previous life who knew nothing. How could I possibly take him as a teacher? Third brother, where are we going to play today? Xiao Wu asked, looking up while poking at the food in her bowl. Xiao Wu, we are currently in the golden stage of cultivation. We cannot waste our talent, Tang Sen said seriously. Xiao Wu's face immediately fell, her lips pouting as if she were about to burst into tears. Once today's cultivation lessons are all finished, I'll accompany you to the market to buy that rabbit hairpin you like, Tang Sen quickly added. Xiao Wu instantly beamed with joy and clapped her hands. Yay, third brother is the best. Chapter 66, Nine-Hearted Begonia, Life and Death Bound Together. Heaven Du City, Yi Manor. The Supreme Pontiff's presence brings great honor to our Yi Manor. Yi Tianxin came forward to greet him. She looked to be in her 30s, wearing an elegant long dress. Her features were clear and beautiful, her brow carrying a hint of gentleness, though a flicker of hard-to-detect worry was hidden deep within her eyes. Kyan Zunji took a seat, accepted the tea offered by a maid, took a sip, and got straight to the point. I'll be blunt. The nine-hearted begonia spirit is very peculiar. No matter how high the spirit masters rank or how many spirit rings they only have one spirit ability, mass healing. Furthermore, only one nine-hearted begonia spirit can undergo awakening per generation, and at most, 2 can exist at the same time. Only when the previous one passes away can the next one successfully awaken. Am I correct, Clan Chief Yi? Yi Tianxin's expression changed slightly, and she nodded. That's correct. Although the nine-hearted begonia cannot compare to a super spirit, it is passed down through a single lineage, with only one person per generation. It is also true that at most 2 can exist at once. This curse-like restriction has prevented the nine-hearted begonia from ever truly becoming powerful. In my view, this is a flaw in your spirit. Kyan Zunji set down his teacup. With only one spirit ability, no matter how strong the healing power, it limits the number of spirit masters in the family. Clan Chief Yi, what if I could resolve the flaw in your spirit? In the inner room, a young girl of 12 or 13 poked her head out, curiously observing Kyan Zunji's group. She was Yi Tianxin's daughter, Yi Lingling. The Supreme Pontiff can truly resolve it. Yi Tianxin looked up sharply, a light of excitement flashing in her eyes. As long as the flaw of the nine-hearted begonia can be resolved, I am willing to pay any price. What if I ask you to lead your entire family to join the spirit hall? Kyan Zunji asked. Yi Tangxin was stunned. The direct line of the nine-hearted begonia had always been small. Now, it was only her and her daughter. The branch family's 8-star begonia and 7-star begonia spirit masters numbered no more than 50 or 60 in total. Although they were a famous healing system family on the continent, their combat strength was extremely low. She herself was a spirit saint, yet she couldn't defeat an ordinary spirit emperor, and would find it difficult to stand against a strong attack system spirit king. After all, she only had one recovery spirit ability. She couldn't help but hesitate. Clan Chief Yi, by joining the spirit hall, not only can the spirit's flaw be resolved, but the family will also receive the protection of the spirit hall. No one on the entire continent would dare touch you lightly. You would no longer have to live at the mercy of others. Kyan Zunji's tone was flat, yet he proposed an irresistible condition. Yi Tangxin grit her teeth and made a decision. Fine. As long as the Supreme Pontiff can resolve the spirit's flaw, I am willing to lead my family to join the spirit hall. Very well, Kyan Zunji nodded. However, I have one more condition. What condition? A marriage alliance. Kyan Zunji looked toward the inner room. Your daughter Yi Lingling, innate spirit power rank 8 spirit, 9-hearted begonia, 10 years old, spirit power rank 22. My son, Kyan Renshin, has innate full spirit power. I believe they are a good match. Hearing this, Yi Lingling's face turned red, and she quickly shrank back into the inner room, her heart in a flutter. Kyan Renshin stood behind Kyan Zunji. Hearing the words, he looked toward the inner room, his face carrying a hint of ignorance. Yi Tangxin's expression instantly turned sour. Supreme Pontiff, I only have Lingling as my descendant. I have also heard a bit about the situation of the Angel clan. If they have children in the future, do you think their spirit will still be the 9-hearted begonia? Once the flaw is resolved, you and your husband are free to have more children, Kyan Zunji said indifferently. As for their children's spirit, I cannot say for certain. Yi Tangxin remained silent for a long time. Her gaze finally landed on the door of the inner room, handing the choice to her daughter. Lingling, you decide for yourself. Yi Lingling walked out from the inner room, bit her lip, and said softly, Mother, I am willing. She thought of her kind grandfather. If it weren't for the spirit legacy, her grandfather wouldn't have passed away so early, and she would have been accompanied by him as she grew up. As the young clan leader of the family, it was time to sacrifice for the family. Besides, that young boy named Kyan Renshin was indeed good-looking. Thinking of this, her small face grew even redder. Supreme Pontiff, I agree. Seeing her daughter's consent, Yi Tangxin no longer hesitated. Kyan Zunji nodded in satisfaction and took out a lotus flower from his spatial storage. Half the petals were emerald green like vibrant young leaves, while the other half were pitch black like silent, dead soil. The two types of auras were intertwined, but did not conflict. This is the life-death twin lotus. Life Kai and death Kai coexist within it. It is very suitable for your spirit and can bring a certain degree of evolution to it. The younger the age, the better the effect of consumption. Clan Chief Yi, if you were to use it, I cannot guarantee that your spirit would definitely evolve. This one is for Lingling. Consider it a meeting gift for my daughter-in-law. In the future, if your family produces another exceptionally talented 9-hearted begonia descendant, I can provide another one to help you complete a thorough spirit evolution. Both Yi Tangxin and Yi Lingling felt the spirits within their bodies throb faintly. Clearly, this lotus was no ordinary item. Thank you, Supreme Pontiff. Yi Lingling took the life-death twin lotus and bowed to Kyan Zunji. Lingling, take it, Yi Tangxin urged. Yi Lingling followed the instruction and consumed it. The lotus melted upon entering her mouth, turning into 2 streams of air that surged into her body. Kyan Zunji flicked his finger, and a golden light merged into her body. The medicinal power of the immortal herb was too vast for a spirit grandmaster of rank 20-something. If she were to absorb it on her own, there was no telling when she would finish. If the spirit failed to evolve because of insufficient absorption, it would instead damage his reputation. An hour later, with Kyan Zunji's help, Yi Lingaling successfully absorbed all the medicinal power and slowly opened her eyes. "Mother, my spirit has evolved. My spirit power has also reached rank 29, she shouted excitedly. Most of the immortal herb's medicinal power was used to evolve the spirit. The increase in spirit power was only from the overflowing energy. Although it wasn't much, it still allowed her to rise 7 ranks in a row. Rank 29. Yi Tiangxin was both surprised and delighted. "Lingaling, quick, release your spirit and let Mother see." Yi Lingaling did as told and released her spirit. A begonia flower bloomed in her palm, its petals half emerald green and half pitch black. The two colors intertwined, emitting a strange aura. "Mother, I've named the new spirit the 9-hearted life-death begonia." Yi Lingaling explained. "It has 2 states. One is the normal 9-hearted begonia state, which excels at healing. The other is the death state. I can use this attribute to fight, and my combat power won't be weaker than a spirit master of the same rank. Unfortunately, there is still only one spirit ability." "That's enough." Yi Tiangxin excitedly grasped her daughter's hand. "From now on, our family can also have decent combat power and no longer need to rely on others for protection. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribers, and share to Infinite Novel audiobooks." So what if there's only one spirit ability? To have normal combat power, Mother is already very satisfied. She turned to Kyan Zunji and bowed solemnly. "Thank you, Supreme Pontiff. My 9-hearted begonia family will head to the Spirit Hall tomorrow." Yi Lingaling also bowed, her eyes full of gratitude. "Thank you, Supreme Pontiff." P.S. 9-hearted life-death begonia, pseudo-super spirit. Only by truly comprehending a domain can it become a super spirit. Generally, a pseudo-super spirit can comprehend a domain upon reaching the titled Duoluo level. Those with better talent can do so earlier. Except for a certain genius woman who was innate rank 9 but remained at rank 9 her whole life, a special case. She traded her talent for a domain. Chapter 67. Engagement Agreement, Rumors Spreading. Several days later, at the Yi residence. "Your Holiness, do we really not need our entire clan to move to Spirit City?" Yi Tiangxin looked at Kyan Zunji, a hint of apprehension in her tone. "This is your clan's ancestral land. Stay here." Kyan Zunji handed over an elder's token engraved with patterns. "Externally, just say that you have a cooperative relationship with Spirit Hall. In the future, if anything happens, you can use this token to contact the Spirit Saint Hall in Heaven Dew City." "This token is too precious. I cannot accept it." Yi Tiangxin quickly waved her hand. "We are already in-laws. There's no need to be polite. You'll find it useful in the future." Kyan Zunji tucked the token into her hand, then turned to Kyan Renshin and said, "Zio Shan, we'll wait for you in the carriage." Kyan Renshin stood before Yi Lingaling, his small face flushed. He was only a little over 6 years old and didn't understand what emotions were, but he knew the meaning of a marriage alliance. He didn't dislike this marriage. It was natural for children to obey their parents' wishes and the matchmaker's words. After spending these past few days together, he felt that his fiancée was not bad, but she seemed a bit too clingy. "Don't you have anything to say to me?" Yi Lingaling asked, her face red, a hint of resentment in her eyes. She had been proactive enough these past few days, but this quiet blockhead in front of her showed no reaction at all. Could it be that her charm wasn't enough? Impossible. It must be that he was too young and didn't understand these things. Yes, that must be it. Kyan Renshin took out a bracelet from his Huya and handed it over. "This is for you, a gift." "So pretty, thank you." Yi Lingaling's eyes lit up and she quickly took it in her hand. "This is a spirit tool with 20 cubic meters of space inside, capable of storing living creatures for 1 hour," Kyan Renshin explained. Kyan Renksu had forced it on him, saying he should give his fiancée a gift before leaving. He originally wanted to refuse, but his sister's oppressive aura was too strong. He wasn't cowardly, he was just being prudent. I like it very much. Yi Lingling smiled, her eyes curving. That he would give her such a precious treasure showed he had a good impression of her. She took a jade pendant from her neck and handed it to N.A.N. This is for you. It's a family heirloom. Although it's not as precious as your gift, it has the effect of calming the mind and can assist in cultivating. Don't lose it. Next time we meet, I want to see it. N.A.N. took the jade pendant. It felt warm and smooth in his hand. He nodded solemnly. I will keep it safe. Inside the carriage, N.A.N. held the jade pendant, occasionally lost in thought. Oh, with a fiancé, you've forgotten your sister, haven't you? Sister is so sad. N.A.N. deliberately clutched her chest, feigning a wronged expression. Sister, what are you talking about? N.A.N.'s face grew redder, and he hastily defended himself. I'm just thinking about how to improve my combat awareness. Oh, combat awareness, is it? Your face is completely red and you still won't admit it. N.A.N. teased. N.A.N.'s cheeks burned with embarrassment, but he didn't know how to retort. To improve combat awareness, the best way is actual combat. N.A.N. spoke, turning to Ghost Duoluo, Ghost to Shenfeng Academy. Yes, Ghost Duoluo replied, cracking the whip, and the carriage subtly changed direction. Father, do you want the people from Shenfeng Academy to spar with Xiao Shan? N.A.N. asked. Precisely. N.A.N. nodded. Spirit masters of Spirit Hall, regardless of the quality or quantity of their spirits, are much stronger than those outside. However, due to Xiao Shan's identity, it's hard for them to go all out. Shenfeng Academy has a different stance from us. As long as we offer them a reward they cannot refuse, they will certainly give their all. Don't worry, Dad, I won't lose. N.A.N. clenched his fists, his eyes firm. If you lose, you'll have to wear little dresses for 3 months. N.A.N. teased with a smile. Sister, how could you? N.A.N. stomped his foot in exasperation. When he was little and didn't know better, N.A.N. would always dress him in skirts. It wasn't until he was 3 that he understood skirts were for girls and he was a boy. This matter had always been a sore spot for him. Didn't you wear them every day when you were little? And you especially liked the ones with flowers. N.A.N. deliberately provoked him. N.A.N.'s face instantly turned crimson with anger and embarrassment. He could only turn his head to the window, pretending to look at the scenery, but his ears were so red they looked like they might bleed. At this time, within Shenfeng Academy, the deans of Blazing Academy and Tianshui Academy were also present. Among the 5 great elemental academies, except for Thunder Academy and Elephant Armored Academy, the deans of the other 3 academies were gathered together. Although they were competitors, they often cooperated for mutual benefit. If the upper 3 sects could be united, they naturally could also help each other. In recent days, it spread across the continent that Spirit Hall's Supreme Pontiff N.A.N., leading Chrysanthemum Duoluo Ghost Duoluo, as well as the Pope's consort, N.A.N. and N.A.N., successively visited the Clear Sky sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. It's said that N.A.N. also defeated Tang Lai, Tang Hong, Tang Zhen, and Yu Yuanzhen. What do you all think? Shenfeng Academy's Dean Feng Sheng was the first to speak. This information, I don't know who spread it, and the source can't be found. But neither the Clear Sky sect nor the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect have come out to refute it. I think the credibility is not low. Blazing Academy's Dean Huo Wen said in a deep voice. But that N.A.N. is only a spirit emperor, and it said her spirit rings are 2 black and 4 red, and she's a single spirit user. Is this possible? Why didn't she explode? Ordinary spirit masters, if their spirit ring's age limit is slightly higher than normal, risk exploding. How could hers exceed it by so much? Tianshui Academy's Dean Shui Langson asked, puzzled. No matter what, there's no smoke without fire. We need to prepare early. The scout reported that Qian Zunji and his party are already on their way to Shenfeng Academy, Wen said. Feng Sheng frowned, pondering for a moment. This matter is indeed strange. We must handle it cautiously. Let's go to Shenfeng Academy together. The 3 academies will advance and retreat as one, Shui Langson suggested. Wen nodded in agreement, and Feng Sheng cupped his hands in thanks. Thank you, both of you. Across the continent, news of Qian Rengsu's deeds was spreading rapidly, and no one knew the source of the information. It said that Qian Rengsu instantly killed Tang Lai with 1 move, defeated Tang Hong in 10 moves, and Tang Zhen in 30 moves. It said that Qian Rengsu single-handedly fought Tang Zhen Tang Hong and Tang Lai, achieving a triple victory in a 1-on-3 battle, breaking the myth of the Clear Sky sect. I heard that N.A.N of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect fought Qian Rengsu for 3 days and 3 nights, ultimately losing by half a move. There's also talk that in the battle between Qian Rengsu and N.A.N, the entire foundation of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect was sunken by a Zhang. As for who spread the information, it seemed no longer important. No one refuted it, so it was taken as a given. Within the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, N.A.N looked out the window, deep in thought. The matter of losing couldn't be kept secret anyway. It would spread sooner or later. It's better to spread it proactively. As for how to publicize it, there were always ways to manipulate the narrative. Even the number 1 sect lost, and 3 people were consecutively defeated. N.A.N was just 1 person. Isn't it normal that I couldn't win? It's not that I'm weak, it's that the enemy is too strong. The Clear Sky sect, meanwhile, was in chaos. After hearing the rumors, they sent people to search everywhere for the disseminators. However, most of those spreading the rumors were commoners, too numerous to kill or clear out, leaving them with no recourse. As for refuting the rumors, they had already lost, and the rumors were half true, half false. The more they explained, the more it seemed like a cover-up, making it impossible to clear their name. Chapter 68, the Shenfeng Academy Youth Group. Within Shenfeng Academy, the deans of the 3 great academies, Blazing Fire, Heaven's Water, and Shenfeng, awaited, accompanied by their respective institutions' elite disciples and descendants. Qian Zunji is making such a show this time, likely to build fame for the children. Feng Sheng pondered. Rather than waiting for him to come knocking one by one, it's better for us to take the initiative. Qian Rengsu's strength was far too astonishing. They dared not speculate about it, nor did they feel she would set her sights on them. As academy deans, Feng Sheng and Wen were merely spirit duo, while Shui Langson's cultivation was only at the spirit saint level. The 3 academy deans all believed that Qian Zunji's visit to Shenfeng Academy must be targeting his son, Qian Renshin. Although Qian Renshin's exact cultivation level was unknown, with such an outstanding older sister, it surely couldn't be too poor. Having established themselves in elite academies for many years, the deans indeed had sharp analytical skills, accurately guessing most of Qian Zunji's intentions. Mother, will the Supreme Pontiff really come to Shenfeng Academy? Shui Binger asked, tugging at Shui Langson's sleeve. He likely will. Shui Langson gently patted her daughter's head. If he comes, Binger, you will meet a truly stunning female spirit master. Are you talking about Qian Rengsu? Shui Binger's eyes lit up. Did she really defeat a titled duo? When she comes, can I ask her? Her face was full of curiosity and anticipation. HMPH, it must be fake. Hua Wu, standing nearby, snorted coldly, her eyes filled with defiance. The spirit hall is just spreading rumors to bolster Qian Rengsu's prestige. I will definitely defeat her. Sister Hua Wu is right. With your talent, you'll surpass her sooner or later. Feng Ziocean quickly chimed in, his tone flattering. Hua Wu felt a flicker of pride at the praise, but stubbornly insisted. Of course. Hua Wu, when the Supreme Pontiff and the others arrive later, you must not be disrespectful, Hua Wen admonished sternly. The spirit hall is not someone we can afford to offend. I know, grandfather, Hua Wu replied, though her tone carried a hint of reluctance. Before long, an ornate carriage slowly approached. To have a titled duoluo driving the carriage, what extravagance! The deans were greatly shocked. Chrysanthemum duoluo and ghost duoluo did not conceal their auras. The pressure far surpassing that of a spirit duoluo was clearly discernible, confirming their identities. The deans hurried forward to greet them. Your Excellency Chrysanthemum duoluo, Your Excellency Ghost duoluo. You deans are too courteous, Chrysanthemum duoluo replied with a chuckle. You understand propriety, unlike the Clear Sky sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, who showed no tact at all. Kyan Zunji and the others alighted from the carriage. The deans promptly clasped their hands in salute. Your Excellency Supreme Pontiff. The younger generation behind them followed suit. Your Excellency Supreme Pontiff. Kyan Zunji gave a slight nod in acknowledgement. Feng Sheng stepped forward. Your Excellency Supreme Pontiff, please come inside. Shenfeng Academy has prepared humble refreshments. In the courtyard of Shenfeng Academy's inner grounds, the 3 academy deans sat opposite Kyan Zunji and Yin, sipping tea. Meanwhile, Kyan Rengsu took Kyan Renshin for a leisurely stroll around the academy. The younger generation from the 3 elemental academies watched them from a distance, their eyes filled with curiosity. Please wait a moment. Kyan Rengsu stopped and turned to look at Shui Binger, who had run over, asking gently, Little sister, is there something you need? Shui Binger's cheeks flushed slightly. Gathering her courage, she asked, Excuse me, are you Kyan Rengsu? I am, Kyan Rengsu nodded. They say you defeated a titled duoluo. Is that true? Shui Binger's eyes were full of inquiry. Naturally, it's true, Kyan Rengsu said plainly. Boasting, a clear voice rang out. Hua Wu approached with several others in tow. You don't look much older than us. How could you possibly defeat a titled duoluo? How old are you, sister? Her face was full of skepticism. A flicker of coldness passed through Kyan Rengsu's eyes. A terrifying pressure suddenly bore down on Hua Wu and the others, then vanished just as quickly. Hua Wu and the others instantly paled. Their legs went weak, nearly buckling beneath them. It felt as if a giant stone were crushing their chests, leaving them breathless. Does that serve as proof? Kyan Rengsu's voice was calm and even. I just turned 15 this year. Little sister, if you wish to question others, you must first possess sufficient strength. With that, she turned and left with Kyan Renshin. Shui Binger was momentarily stunned, then quickly hurried after them. Encountering an immortal master was rare, and she had many more questions to ask. She had to seize the opportunity. Hua Wu, are you all right? Hua Wushwang, having barely steadied himself, hurried over to support his sister. Hua Wu could no longer hold back. She squatted on the ground and burst into loud sobs. Hua Wushwang quickly tried to comfort her in a gentle voice. Strangely, Feng Xiaoshan did not rush to flatter and console her as he usually would. He just stood there dumbly, staring in the direction Kyan Rengsu had left, a complex look in his eyes. Meanwhile, in the courtyard, Hua Wen abruptly stood up, asking excitedly, Your Excellency Supreme Pontiff, are you serious? The other 2 deans also looked at Kyan Zunji with faces full of shock. Each of your 3 academies will have 1 slot. If you can defeat my son, Kyan Renshin, your academy will receive a 1,000-year spirit bone. If all 3 academies succeed, then 3 spirit bones will be given, Kyan Zunji stated flatly. This seat does not speak idly. Your Excellency Supreme Pontiff, His Highness, is he truly only a spirit master? Feng Sheng asked doubtfully. He is currently merely a 15th rank spirit master, Kyan Zunji replied. I will give you 3 days to prepare. Select the strongest students from your own academy to participate. They must be current students of your academy. Kyan Zunji stood up. This seat has never toured Shenfeng Academy before. I will look around. You may go and prepare now. After Kyan Zunji and the others had left, Shui Langson was the first to speak. What do you two think? The spirit hall is truly wealthy and powerful. This is practically gifting us spirit bones, N.A.N said, a flash of excitement in his eyes. We must proceed with caution, Feng Sheng said gravely. If he dares to propose such terms, it means N.A.N is anything but ordinary. N.A.N and Shui Langson exchanged a glance and nodded. You're right. We should return and prepare thoroughly. Not only must they be strong, but they must also have control, able to restrain their power at any moment. Someone with a steady temperament would be best, N.A.N added. What cultivation level are you planning to select for the students? Shui Langson asked. Naturally, the higher the cultivation, the better. If the Supreme Pontiff wishes to gift us spirit bones, how can we refuse? Feng Sheng said. Elsewhere, Shui Binger followed Kayan Rengsu, chattering nonstop. She was introverted by nature and rarely spoke much among her peers. Yet, for some reason, upon seeing this older sister who wasn't much older than her floodgates of conversation had opened. Sister, how did you manage to become so strong at such a young age? As long as you have a good spirit, a decent background, and most importantly, a good father, you can too, Kayan Rengsu said plainly. Shui Binger paused for a moment before asking another question. Then, how did you manage to defeat a titled duelluo? Naturally, by relying on strength, Kayan Rengsu replied, her steps not faltering, her tone as calm as still water. Chapter 69, Kayan Renshin Shenfeng Martial Arts Competition. In the small plaza of Shenfeng Academy's inner court, Kayan Zunji and his group gathered. This competition had no other students watching. Only the participants, the various deans, and their descendants were present. Kayan Renshin walked to the center of the plaza and declared loudly, "Who will go first?" "I will." A young man leaped out, cupped his fists, and bowed. Blazing Academy, Yanhu, Spirit Blazing Fire Civet, 41st Rank Agility Attack System Spirit Ancestor. Please enlighten me. 2 yellow and 2 purple spirit rings lit up on his body, and his spirit power fluctuations were clearly discernible. Spirit Hall Kayan Renshin, Spirit Blue Silver Emperor 15th Rank Spirit Master. Please. Before Kayan Renshin's words finished, his body was already surrounded by blue-silver grass, and a purple spirit ring suddenly lit up. First spirit ability, Blue-Silver Overlord Spear. His spirit power rank was too low. He dared not hold back in the slightest. A purple spirit ring, and it's the first ring. Everyone was astonished. Hugh Wu stood to the side, gazing at Kayan Renshin in the arena, her eyes filled with unwillingness. Such talent, even more dazzling than her own. Spirit possession. Yanhu roared, his form glowing with flames, transforming into a half-human, half-cat state. First spirit ability, Blazing Fire Claw. His figure flickered, and he lunged towards Kayan Renshin with a scorching wave of chi. Kayan Renshin controlled the blue-silver Overlord Spear to meet him. Spear and claw clashed, and both retreated 3 steps. Such powerful brute force. Yan, who was secretly startled, then activated his second spirit ability, his body suddenly accelerating like a streak of fire towards Kayan Renshin. Kayan Renshin swept his spear tip, forcing Yan Hu back. Then the blue-silver grass coiled towards the opponent's ankle. Yan Hu used the force to leap up, avoiding the binding, and his blazing fire claw aimed directly at Kayan Renshin's face. Kayan Renshin dodged sideways, and the Overlord's spear thrust towards Yan Hu's abdomen, forcing him to hastily flip backward. The two instantly exchanged several blows, flames, and the blue-silver Overlord spear colliding, sending chi waves scattering. Fourth spirit ability, Blazing Prairie Fire. Seeing that he couldn't break through, Yan Hu decisively used his strongest spirit ability. Flames surged like a tide towards Kayan Renshin. Blue-silver grass grew wildly beneath Kayan Renshin's feet, forming a thick grass wall, while his body continuously dodged, avoiding the core area of the flames. Admit defeat, Yan Hu sneered. My spirit power is far stronger than yours, and your spirit is grass, which is countered by my fire. You can't win. Is that so? N.A.N.'s lips curled slightly. Blue-silver binding. This is not a spirit ability, but a usage of blue-silver grass, not the binding of N.A.N.'s biological mother. Don't get it wrong. Dozens of blue-silver grass roots suddenly erupted, tightly binding Yan Hu like steel cables. Yan Hu struggled fiercely, but found the blue-silver grass incredibly tough. Despite his flames burning it, there was no sign of combustion. How is this possible? How is this blue-silver grass so sturdy? My fire can't ignite it. A whooshing sound rang out. Yan Hu suddenly looked up to see the tip of a blue-silver overlord spear, condensed with spirit power, pressed against his glabella. You lost, N.A.N. said calmly. Yes, I lost. Yan Hu hung his head, his voice filled with disappointment. He had actually lost to a spirit master. The blue-silver grass slowly receded, and he silently returned to his original position. Next, N.A.N. stood with his spear, his aura slightly fluctuating, but his gaze grew sharper. Another young man stepped forward and said in a deep voice, "You should recover your spirit power first. I'll wait for you." No need. I'm in great condition right now. N.A.N. was full of battle intent. The young man cupped his fists. Shenfeng Academy, Hong Tao. 42nd rank attack system battle spirit ancestor, spirit wind-breaking spear. Please enlighten me. 4 spirit rings lit up, and a long spear shimmering with wind patterns appeared in his hand. Hong Tao's spear shot out like a dragon, piercing towards N.A.N. with a whistling wind sound. N.A.N. blocked horizontally with his spear. The spear shafts collided, emitting a dull thud. Hong Tao spun, using the force, his spear tip sweeping towards N.A.N.'s waist. N.A.N. leaped up, the overlord spear counter-thrusting, forcing Hong Tao to retreat his spear to defend himself. The shadows of their spears intertwined, and in a blink, they had exchanged more than 10 blows. Second spirit ability, Breaking Wind. Hong Tao's long spear glowed with a green light, its speed suddenly increasing. The spear tip grazed N.A.N.'s shoulder, tearing a gash, and blood instantly seeped out. N.A.N. quickly distanced himself, his brows slightly furrowed. Hong Tao's spear techniques were tricky and extremely fast. My spirit power isn't that easy to evade. Be careful. Third spirit ability, Wind Control. Wind elements gathered around Hong Tao, increasing his speed further. He moved like a green lightning bolt, with spear shadows filling the sky. N.A.N. could only passively defend. The gap between a spirit master and a spirit ancestor was fully revealed at this moment. Not only the total spirit power, but the difference in spirit abilities also put him at a great disadvantage. He only had 1 spirit ability available. Your Holiness Supreme Pontiff, His Highness N.A.N. is truly formidable, Wen exclaimed. After defeating 1 spirit ancestor, he can still fight another for so long. The battle has just begun, Dean Huo. Just watch, Zunji said calmly, a hint of approval in his eyes. Huo Wu, Feng Tianxiao, Huo Wushwang Shui Binger, and others looked at the young man in the arena, who was younger and had a lower spirit power rank than them. A chill ran through their hearts. If it were themselves fighting, they probably wouldn't stand a chance either. In a flash, they exchanged dozens of blows. N.A.N.'s clothes were tattered, and he had 7 or 8 new wounds on his body, yet he showed no sign of retreating. His gaze, instead, grew even more ruthless. HMPH! Both thrust their spears simultaneously. N.A.N.'s overlord spear aimed directly at Hong Tao's throat, while Hong Tao's wind-breaking spear pointed at N.A.N.'s shoulder. Seeing the spear tip getting closer, Hong Tao felt a sudden fear and instinctively pulled his spear back to defend. This defense immediately deflated his aura. N.A.N. seized the opportunity, his offense growing even fiercer, instantly revering the offensive and defensive roles. After another 30 or so exchanges, Hong Tao's morale gradually waned, and his movements revealed flaws. N.A.N. spotted an opening and delivered a side kick to Hong Tao's lower abdomen, sending him flying. Hong Tao fell to the ground with a muffled groan, unable to stand up again. Next, Kayan Renshin stood leaning on his blue-silver overlord spear, covered in blood, yet standing tall like a god of war. A few breaths passed, and no one stepped forward. Kayan Renshin's gaze fell on a girl behind Shui Langson. "Linglong, it's your turn," Shui Langson said. "Yes, Dean." Linglong walked forward, looked at the injured Kayan Renshin and hesitated. "How about you get treated first?" "It's fine." Kayan Renshin tore off his cuff. On his exposed arm, the previous wounds had mostly healed, leaving only faint scars. "Let's continue the battle." Shock flashed in Linglong's eyes, and the surrounding crowd also burst into an uproar. "What terrifying recovery power!" Shui Langson exclaimed. "Tianshui Academy, Linglong, 41st rank control system spirit master, spirit water vine. Please enlighten me." 4 spirit rings lit up on Linglong's body, and several water mist-laden vines encircled her. "Third spirit ability, vine prison," Linglong said softly. Dozens of water vines rapidly spread, completely encircling Kayan Renshin, forming a sealed space. An unexpected change occurred. The cage made of water vines suddenly began to shrink, while the surrounding blue-silver grass grew wildly, drilling through the gaps in the water vines, and in a blink, tightly bound Linglong on the outside. "What's happening? Why can't I release my spirit?" Linglong was anxious, trying to break free, but found her body firmly locked. "Because I had no intention of harming you." Kayan Renshin's voice came from inside the vine prison. Then, the vine prison dissipated, and he slowly walked out. "Instead, I infused you with a small amount of life force. Your spirit, water vine, considered this beneficial energy and was constantly absorbing it, naturally not wanting to resist. This round, I also won." Kayan Renshin withdrew his spirit, and the blue-silver grass slowly receded. Linglong looked at the little boy in front of her, blushing. She secretly thought, the feeling in that instant was truly strange and wonderful. Chapter 70. The Troublemaker of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. The 3 academy deans stepped forward one after another, their words full of flattery. "Your Highness is so young, yet possesses such combat power, truly a hero among youth." Hugh Wen stroked his beard and sighed in admiration. Although he hadn't obtained a spirit bone, he had witnessed the potential of Kayan Renshin, so it wasn't a loss. Feng Sheng also cupped his hands and said, "A fine son taught by the Supreme Pontiff. To defeat 3 spirit ancestors in a row at the level of a spirit master. Such talent is unprecedented across the Duluo continent." Shui Langson chimed in softly. "Your Highness is not only outstanding in strength, but also steady in heart nature. You will surely achieve great things in the future." Although they had lost, they hadn't suffered any substantial losses, only a slight blow to their morale, which was of no great consequence. Hugh Wu looked at Kayan Renshin, her eyes complex, filled with unwillingness and a hint of indescribable admiration. Hugh Wushwang frowned slightly, lost in thought. Feng Xiaoshan looked amazed, muttering, "Too powerful." Shui Binger was still ruminating on the just-concluded match. Kayan Zunji nodded slightly and said to the 3 academy deans, "The children were just sparring, stopping at the point of contact. Thank you all for giving Xiao Shan this opportunity today." As soon as he finished speaking, his gaze turned to a patch of grass on his left, and he said, "Schoolmaster Enning, when did you learn such petty, sneaking behavior? Since you're here, why not come out and have a chat?" Everyone was startled by this, turning their heads to look at the grass, their faces full of surprise. Someone was actually hiding there. "Enning has only just arrived, yet I've already witnessed such a wonderful battle. What a pleasure." Ning Fengzhai walked out from behind the grass, smiling and leaning on his cane. Behind him followed Sword Duluo Chenzin and Bone Duluo Gu Rong. It was the troublemaker trio of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Congratulations to the Supreme Pontiff for gaining such a killin son. It truly makes others envious. Feng Sheng's expression darkened as he looked at Ning Fengzhai. "Schoolmaster Enning, The 7-treasure glazed tile school has arrived. Why not give us a heads up? I thought a thief had broken in. The people from Spirit Hall had entered through the main gate, but the 7-treasure glazed tile school, also being one of the upper 3 sects, had snuck directly into the inner courtyard. This clearly showed no regard for Shenfeng Academy, treating it like their own back garden. N.A.N. Fengzhai's smile remained unchanged as he said gently, "Do not blame us, Dean Feng. We also heard that the Supreme Pontiff was here. I was in a hurry to meet him and feared disturbing your Highness's match, so I dared not make any noise. I hope you can forgive us." His tone was humble, and his words were very pleasant to hear. Feng Zhai heard that the Supreme Pontiff had arrived at Shenfeng Academy and came specifically to catch up on old times. N.A.N. Fengzhai turned to Qian Zunji, his gaze sweeping over Qian Renxu intentionally or unintentionally. Although the intelligence network of the 7-treasure glazed tile school was not as good as Spirit Hall's, it was enough to rival the 2 great empires. After all, they had deep financial resources. Qian Renxu's exploits had already reached his ears. He didn't believe that since the other party had fought the other 2 upper 3 sects, they would let the 7-treasure glazed tile school off the hook, so he had come specifically. Although he didn't know the specific battle situation of the Clear Sky sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, he knew that many buildings in both sects had been smashed. Items from the 7-treasure glazed tile school were always expensive, and the mountain gate was their facade. It absolutely could not be lost. Therefore, he had taken the initiative to appear. Sword Duoluo Chenzin's gaze fell on Qian Renxu, his battle intent rising in his eyes. He could feel that this young girl possessed the aura of the Tao of the sword, and it was not weak. He had been stuck at level 95 for over 10 years, and was in need of a sword-grinding stone. "Sword Duoluo, you seem to want to spar with Zuer." Qian Zunji saw his thoughts and asked. Chenzin stepped forward and cupped his hands. "Supreme Pontiff, this girl's Tao of the sword is extraordinary. Chenzin's hands are itching, and I would like to ask for some pointers." Qian Zunji looked at Qian Renxu. "Zuer, what do you think?" Qian Renxu nodded. "I can." Qian Zunji smiled slightly, then turned to N.A.N. Fengzhai. "Schoolmaster N.A.N., your 7-treasure glazed tile school doesn't seem to have any 10,000-year spirit bones, right?" With a wave of his hand, 3 spirit bones emitting rich spirit power fluctuations floated in the air. These 3 spirit bones are 30,000, 40,000, and 50,000 years old, respectively. I will use them as a wager, betting that Zuer will win. Schoolmaster N.A.N., are you interested? N.A.N. Fengzhai's gaze was instantly attracted by the 3 spirit bones, a fiery light flashing in his eyes. 10,000-year spirit bones were treasures of the Blood River. Money couldn't necessarily buy them, and these 3 were of quite high age, making them a huge temptation for the 7-treasure glazed tile school. The 3 academy deans desperately suppressed the greed in their eyes, and Huo Wu and the others were even more shocked. A 10,000-year spirit bone could be carried on one's person at any time, and there were 3 of them. "Supreme Pontiff, spirit bones are too precious. My 7-treasure glazed tile school does not have any corresponding spirit bones to wager." N.A.N. Fengzhai hesitated. "If you don't have spirit bones, you can use gold coins." Qian Zunji interrupted him. "Your 7-treasure glazed tile school is as wealthy as a nation. I'll take a small loss. If you put up 300 million gold coins, it will be considered equivalent to these spirit bones. Opportunity knocks but once, Schoolmaster N.A.N. If you miss this, you won't have another chance." 300 million gold coins. N.A.N. Fengzhai's heart tightened. Although the 7-treasure glazed tile school was wealthy, their annual revenue was only 200 or 300 million, and their expenses were huge. The salaries of tens of thousands of low-level spirit masters, death allowances for spirit masters, shop expenses, and staff wages consumed nearly 200 million every year. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribers, and share to Infinite Novel audiobooks. 300 million gold coins would take nearly 4 years to earn back. The Clear Sky sect lost 6 spirit bones to me, and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect lost a 50,000-year spirit bone and 1 year's worth of sect resources. Kyan Zunji's tone carried a hint of imperceptible pressure. Schoolmaster Enning, you wouldn't deny me this face, would you? Enning Fengzhai wiped the fine sweat from his forehead, smiling bitterly in his heart. Are they all playing this big? As the second greatest sect in the world, since the other 2 sects had lost, if he didn't accept this bet, Spirit Hall wouldn't let him off, and the other 2 sects would surely have opinions. Being among the upper 3 sects, they often needed to be equal. The 7 Treasure Glaze Tile School couldn't make exceptions. He took a deep breath and said loudly, "How could I not give the Supreme Pontiff face? My 7 Treasure Glaze Tile School will accompany you." Several dozen miles away from Shenfeng Academy, in a wasteland, Kyan Zunji's party had already arrived. The deans of the 3 great academies had also come along with their respective students and teachers. To welcome Kyan Zunji and his group, each academy had brought a dozen disciples and 7 or 8 teachers, giving plenty of face. Now they were all guarding here, preparing to watch the battle. To be lucky enough to witness a battle of the titled Duoluo level was a huge opportunity for them. The crowd stood at a spot 100 paces away from Kyan Rengsu and Chen Xin, their eyes fixed on the 2 confronting each other in the wasteland. "Binger, watch carefully and learn well. Such opportunities are rare," Shui Langxin said softly to her daughter beside her. Shui Binger nodded vigorously. "Mother, I will. I will definitely watch carefully and learn more. This battle will surely resound throughout the Duoluo continent. Watch carefully," Hua Wen said to Hua Wu and Hua Wushwang. Hua Wu responded, "I know, grandfather, I will record every detail." Hua Wushwang also nodded. "I will watch carefully." An insurmountable peak for the younger generation. "Xia Ocean, she is the goal for you after this," Feng Sheng said to Feng Xia Ocean. Feng Xia Ocean stared intently at Kyan Rengsu's figure in front and nodded vigorously. "Yes, grandfather, I will definitely work hard." The teachers of various academies also held their breath, staring at the 2 in front, their eyes full of expectation. Chapter 71, Kyan Rengsu vs. Sword Duoluo Chenzin. In the center of the wasteland, the airflow was violently disturbed by 2 powerful auras. 7 Treasure Glaze Tile School, Chenzin, Spirit Power Rank 95 titled Duoluo, Spirit 7 Kill Sword. As Chenzin finished speaking, 9 spirit rings rose from beneath his feet. Yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 linked ring by ring. A long sword, its entire body flowing with chilling, killing intent, appeared out of thin air in his hand. It was the 7 Kill Sword. The aura of the rank 95 titled Duoluo spread out like a raging tide, pressing down until the surrounding grass and trees bent, and even fine cracks appeared on the ground. Spirit Hall, Kyan Rengsu, Spirit Power Rank 67 Spirit Emperor, Spirit 8-Winged Angel. Kyan Rengsu met the pressure, and 6 spirit rings lit up behind her, 2 black and 4 red. The red was deep as blood, refracting an eerie luster under the sunlight. 8 pairs of golden wings unfurled behind her, and a holy aura permeated the area. Although her aura was slightly inferior, she stood firm like a pillar in the middle of a flowing river, resisting the sword Duoluo's aura without taking a single step back. 2 black and 4 red, just as expected. It seems the rumors are true. Chenzin's gaze landed on Kyan Rengsu's spirit rings, his tone carrying a hint of gravity. The onlookers were all in an uproar, their faces filled with shock. "It's real, it's really true. Starting with 10,000-year spirit rings, and there are 400,000-year spirit rings." An elderly teacher muttered to himself, "If this old man can see such a sight with his own eyes, I would have no regrets even in death." With so many high-year spirit rings, just how sturdy has her body become? Golden light erupted from Kyan Rengsu's body as she successively activated her first soul skill, Armament, and her second soul skill, Holy Light. A suit of brilliant golden armor covered her entire body, and a long sword condensed from holy light appeared in her hand. Her aura surged suddenly, faintly forming a stance that could rival Chen Xin's. Kaiyan Rengsu pointed her sword directly at Chen Xin and said loudly, "My grandfather once said that the purest sword heart on the continent today belongs to the successor of the 7 kill sword, Sword Duluo Chen Xin. I am very curious about what exactly you have done to earn such high praise from my grandfather. Sword Duluo, let me witness your Tao of the sword." Her eyes flashed with undisguised battle intent. "It is Chen Xin's honor to receive such generous praise from Senior." Chen Xin nodded slightly. "Today, I will go all out and let you see my, Chen Xin's, sword." He had originally intended to show some restraint due to Kaiyan Rengsu's young age, but upon feeling the aura on her that was in no way inferior to his own, he knew he could not afford the slightest carelessness. Bangs, bangs, bang. The two figures instantly intertwined, the sounds of metal clashing as dense as rain. They moved at high speed across the ground, and every collision of their blades sent out blinding sparks and powerful shockwaves, the ground beneath their feet shattering in response. In just a single breath, the two had exchanged over a dozen moves, and over a dozen pits of similar depth had appeared on the ground, with crushing stones flying and dust filling the air. Some of the pit edges still bore the traces of sword kai cuts, while others showed irregular depressions caused by the immense impact, which was enough to show the intensity of their battle. Chen Xin flipped his wrist and activated his first soul skill, Long Sword Peak, the 7-kill sword transforming into a biting cold light that thrust straight at Kaiyan Rengsu's heart. Kaiyan Rengsu reacted extremely quickly, blocking with her sword horizontally. With a crisp clang, the immense force caused both of them to retreat 3 steps. She used the momentum to spin and counterattack with her golden sword, forcing Chen Xin to retreat and defend. The two quickly separated and stood facing each other from a distance, their auras becoming increasingly sharp. Fifth soul skill, might shaking the 4 directions. Chen Xin let out a low shout, and the killing intent around him suddenly doubled in intensity. His aura grew stronger, and the edge of the 7-kill sword seemed capable of slicing through the air, chilling the hearts of those who watched. The two tangled together again, and after several rounds, Kaiyan Rengsu gradually fell into a passive position. Chen Xin's sword was as fast as lightning, and the angles were tricky. Even with the golden armor protecting her body, several shallow scratches were carved into her shoulder and arm armor. Kaiyan Rengsu spotted an opening and struck with all her might, forcing Chen Xin back and temporarily widening the distance. Sixth soul skill enchantment, Kaiyan Rengsu shouted, and the golden sword was instantly wrapped in 3 types of power: holy, light, and flame. The light swirled, and her momentum grew even stronger. The two engaged in close combat again. Kaiyan Rengsu's sword techniques contain the power of 3 attributes, which erupted in constant alternation, at times like holy light purifying, at times like flames scorching the heavens. Chen Xin was gradually suppressed. Although his 7-kill sword was filled with chilling killing intent, it lacked the augmentation of special attributes and was clearly suppressed in the face of Kaiyan Rengsu's attribute powers, making it difficult for him to fully unleash his strength. Ninth soul skill, Divine Demon Dual Slash. A bright light flashed in Chen Xin's eyes, and black and white sword Kai emerged on the 7-kill sword, slashing out in an intertwined pattern with a world-destroying momentum. Just as the sword Kai was about to hit her, Kaiyan Rengsu's figure suddenly vanished. Teleportation activated, and she narrowly dodged this fatal blow. Taking advantage of the gap before Chen Xin's spirit power fully recovered, she instantly closed in and thrust her golden sword repeatedly, attacking his openings with every move, forcing Chen Xin to retreat repeatedly. For a moment, he was somewhat flustered and could only barely defend. Enning Fengzhai watched the situation in the arena, his expression darkening slightly, his fingers clutching his staff tightening unconsciously. "Schoolmaster Enning, Your sex guardian Duoluo doesn't seem to have much combat power. Kyan Zunji spoke indifferently, his tone carrying a hint of mockery. Why don't you join Spirit Hall? We have many titled Duoluo in Spirit Hall. We could certainly replace him with a stronger one for you. Enning Fengzhai squeezed out a reluctant smile and cupped his hands, saying, Your Excellency, the Supreme Pontiff, you jest. Uncle Sword is the pillar of my 7-treasure glazed tile school. Our school cannot do without him. He politely declined, but secretly broke into a cold sweat. After another dozen rounds, Kyan Rengsu's attacks continued like a storm, never ceasing. Chen Xin thought to himself that this was bad. If this continued, he would only become more passive. He immediately shouted, Martial Soul True Body. A massive phantom of the 7-kill sword appeared behind him. An even more powerful aura erupted, forcing Kyan Rengsu back several steps. 8th soul skill, moving mountains and filling seas. Chen Xin raised the 7-kill sword, and the massive sword shadow slowly lifted with it, then slashed down with a force capable of splitting mountains and shattering rocks. Kyan Rengsu dared not be negligent and used teleportation again, barely dodging it. The giant sword landed on the ground and exploded with a boom. A massive fissure, dozens of zhang long and over a zhang wide, appeared on the wasteland. It was bottomless, and rocks at the edge were still tumbling down. Chen Xin leaned on his sword, panting slightly. Continuously using high-rank spirit abilities consumed a great deal of his spirit power. Kyan Rengsu seized this opportunity and attacked again. Chen Xin backhanded a swing, and his 9th soul skill, Divine Demon Dual Slash, activated once more, the black and white sword Kai whistling out. Watching the approaching sword Qi, Kyan Rengsu had no time to use other spirit abilities. She could only block with her sword horizontally while simultaneously twisting her body sharply, using the force of the technique to guide the sword Kai and shift its trajectory slightly. Boom! The sword Kai struck the small mountain behind her hard, and the entire mountaintop was actually split down the middle, as if it had been parted neatly in the center. Crushing stones splashed, and dust rose to the sky, blotting out the sun. Kyan Rengsu took the opportunity to teleport again, widening the distance from Chen Xin. She adjusted her breath for a moment, calming the somewhat chaotic spirit power in her body, looked at Chen Xin, and called out, I didn't expect that you, Sword Duoluo, would also use such little tricks. Chen Xin stood with his sword retracted and said indifferently, The Tao of the sword does not necessarily have to be head-on. Technique, strategy, and calculation are also part of the Tao of the sword. You are a formidable opponent. Kyan Rengsu looked at the massive sword shadow behind Chen Xin and asked in confusion, Are you not using the tool spirit weaponization? That is a realm that can only be understood by a rank 96 super duoluo. I have not yet reached rank 96, Chen Xin explained. Finally, I've met a normal person. Kyan Rengsu snorted softly. Sword duoluo, I'll give you a reminder. This martial soul true body of yours is useless against me. It will only waste your spirit power in vain. Chapter 72, Clash of Domains, A Clear Sword Heart. The light of a spirit bone shone from Kyan Rengsu's left leg as she activated the spirit bone skill. Godspeed! Her speed abruptly doubled, and she transformed into a golden stream of light, closing in on Chen Xin in an instant. Second soul skill, Sword Spirit Protection. A shield condensed from Sword Kai manifested in front of Chen Xin. With a dull thud, the shield was cleaved open by a single strike from Kyan Rengsu's sword. Chen Xin hurriedly channeled his spirit power to repair the shield, but Kyan Rengsu was already attacking again. Her golden sword fell upon the shield like a violent storm, producing a dense clatter of collisions. The sound of clashing metal echoed continuously through the air. Chen Xin could only exert all his spirit power to hold his defense. Only now did he understand why Kyan Rengsu had said the martial soul true body was useless. She was too fast. A massive, clumsy martial soul true body simply couldn't keep up with her rhythm and would instead become a burden. In just a few short breaths, Chen Xin had been attacked dozens of times. A sharp light flashed in his eyes as the 7-kill domain suddenly expanded, enveloping Cayenne Rengsu in an invisible pressure. Cayenne Rengsu immediately felt her strength, speed, and defense drop. Her overall combat power was weakened by nearly 50%. She decisively used teleportation to pull back and create distance. The 7-kill true body slowly retracted into Chen Xin's body. He leaned on his sword, gasping for breath. Defending. Sword Duoluo, it's time for this battle to end. 8 wings unfurled behind Cayenne Rengsu as the angelic domain suddenly expanded, and a holy light filled the area. Chen Xin's expression changed slightly as he felt his 7-kill domain being suppressed ruthlessly. The greatest effect of his domain was to significantly weaken an enemy's speed, strength, and defense. A spirit master of the same rank could be weakened by 30%. Against Cayenne Rengsu, he had thought he could weaken her by 50%, but once she deployed her own domain, his suppression effect became completely void. What made him even more helpless was that his domain lacked the function to buff himself. Cayenne Rengsu felt the power suppressing her body vanish without a trace. Not only that, but the angelic domain also granted her a significant boost to all her attributes. This domain could not only dissolve and purify another's spirit power, elemental attributes, and vitality, but it could also directly suppress an opponent's strength while enhancing her own. This was exactly how she had been able to easily suppress Tang Zhen and Yuanzhen. As long as her domain was not broken, she stood in an invincible position. Sword Duoluo, your comprehension of your domain is not thorough enough. It has yet to complete its transformation. Cayenne Rengsu's figure blurred as she engaged Chen Xin once more. Let me give you a hand. Sword shadows intertwined in the sky as golden light and cold glints constantly collided. 6th soul skill, myriad swords return to ancestor. Chen Xin shouted low as countless sword shadows appeared out of thin air, shooting toward Cayenne Rengsu like a torrential rain. However, before those sword shadows could even get within 3 feet of her, they were purified and dissolved by the power of the angelic domain, failing to stir even a single ripple. Chen Xin was completely suppressed. He could only keep moving, attempting to find a flaw in Cayenne Rengsu's stance. Cayenne Rengsu gave him no room to breathe. Her golden sword swung down heavily. Chen Xin blocked with his sword, but the massive force smashed him directly into the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust and creating a deep crater. Cayenne Rengsu landed at the edge of the crater and looked down at him, her voice cold and clear. Sword Duoluo, where is your sword heart? Since we began fighting, I have seen your confusion, your shock, your resentment, and your helplessness. But I have not seen an indomitable sword heart, nor the determination of one who holds a sword and fears none. As a swordsman, you only know how to evade and retreat. You truly disappoint me. I use a sword only because it is convenient. I do not consider myself a qualified swordsman. But you are. Your spirit is the 7-kill sword. You were born for the sword, yet you are unworthy of possessing it. As Chen Xin lay in the crater, Cayenne Rengsu's words were like a heavy hammer, smashing ruthlessly against his heart. Indeed, where was his sword heart? When he was young, he had traveled the continent to pursue the peak of the Tao of the sword, sparring with countless experts. Even when covered in wounds, he had never retreated. But as he grew older and his status rose, he had gradually lost that sharp edge of his youth. His concerns grew more numerous, and he had become so constrained even when facing a junior. He remembered his childhood, when his father had placed the 7-kill sword in his hands and said, "In the Tao of the sword, only through purity can one reach the ultimate strength." At that time, he didn't understand. He only knew that his heart was full of joy whenever he held a sword. Later, his father died in battle. His eyes held only his sword and his enemies. He had been so resolute then, when had he ever felt the slightest hesitation? Later still, he became the guardian Duoluo of the 7-treasure glazed tile school. With the heavy responsibility of the sect on his shoulders, He became increasingly afraid to take risks, and even his sword gradually became heavy. Hess! Chen Xin let out a low chuckle. The laughter grew louder, carrying a hint of self-mockery and a hint of epiphany. He suddenly stood up from the crater. The confusion in his eyes faded, replaced by an unprecedented clarity and sharpness. It was the light belonging to a swordsman, pure and blazing. Sect Master N.A.N, congratulations. He has broken through. Qian Zunji spoke calmly as he watched the aura surging from Chen Xin. A breakthrough, rank 96 super duo. Ning Fengzhai was both shocked and delighted, his face unable to hide his excitement. Ha ha ha! Chen Xin laughed loudly, his eyes flashing with an unprecedented light. To think that after living for decades, I wasn't as clear-headed as a young girl. To thank you, this time I shall go forward with indomitable will and no more retreats. He walked out of the deep crater step by step. With every step he took, his aura surged. After 7 steps, his aura had reached its peak. The 7-killed domain expanded once more. Although it was still suppressed by the angelic domain, it was no longer as fragile as before. Chen Xin pushed off hard with his legs and charged at Qian Rengsu. The two were locked in a fierce battle once again. This time, Chen Xin did not retreat half a step. His sword moves were sharp and decisive, without the slightest hesitation. In an instant, they exchanged over a dozen rounds, the sound of clashing metal deafening to the ears. Qian Rengsu's third spirit ring lit up as she activated her first soul skill, Angel 8-stage slash, while simultaneously triggering her spirit bone skill, Godspeed. Her figure became as fast as a ghost. Chen Xin tried to block, but he was ultimately 1 step too slow. 8 dull thuds rang out in succession in the air, as Qian Rengsu struck him 8 times with her sword. Qian Rengsu landed steadily, while Chen Xin erupted in a mist of blood in midair and fell. Old swordsman, Bone Duo Gurong shouted. His figure flashed and space rippled. He appeared instantly beneath Chen Xin and caught him steadily. Fengzhai, hurry, he urged. N.A.N Fengzhai did not dare to delay. The 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda's true body manifested, hovering above Chen Xin's head. Brilliant light poured into his body, continuously repairing his injuries. Your healing speed is too slow. Let me do it. Qian Rengsu flicked her finger, and a stream of spirit power containing a rich life aura was injected into Chen Xin's body from a distance. His complexion improved at a rate visible to the naked eye. Stop, Chen Xin said with difficulty. Uncle Sword, your injuries have just stabilized, Ning Fengzhai advised. Qian Rengsu, stop, Chen Xin said, looking at her with a calm tone. I deserve these injuries. They are stable now, I won't die. Qian Rengsu retracted her spirit power and turned to return to Qian Zunji's side. If someone didn't care, she would save herself the effort. Chapter 73. Immortal Herb as Bait, Ning Fengzhai's Painful Sacrifice. Your Holiness, the Supreme Pontiff, Fengzhai left in a hurry and did not bring enough gold coins. How about we move to the 7-treasure glazed tile school? It would also allow me to count the assets in a timely manner, Ning Fengzhai said with a slight bow, his tone carrying a hint of caution. Acceptable, Qian Zunji nodded in agreement. He then turned to the 3 deans and said, Deans, we shall take our leave here. After speaking, he walked out together with Ning Fengzhai. Qian Rengsu took out a jade bottle from her spirit tool and walked over to Shui Binger. Little sister Binger, this is a gift from me, until we meet again. Having said that, she turned to follow the group. As Shui Binger held the jade bottle, Qian Rengsu's voice suddenly echoed in her mind. These are whale marrow pills. Each one consumed allows the body to withstand an additional 300 years of spirit ring age. There are 9 pills in total in this bottle. The effect decreases with multiple doses, but after finishing all 9, you can increase your total capacity by 1,500 years. She held the jade bottle, her eyes filled with shock. Dozens of people from the 3 academies watched the backs of Qian Zunji's group, standing still for a long time. The shock brought by this battle was enough for them to remember for a lifetime. The resentment in the eyes of Hugh Wu and the others had vanished, replaced only by pure admiration. Being slightly better makes one a target of envy, but when the gap is so vast it cannot be crossed, one can only look up in awe. Feng Xiaoshan gazed into the distance, his eyes full of confusion. Could he really reach such a height? Did he have the qualifications? Was he worthy? A few days later, at the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, N.A.N Fengzhai took out 3 spirit tools and handed them to Qian Zunji. Your Holiness, the Supreme Pontiff, as per your request. Inside are resources worth 200 million and 100 million gold coins. In this spirit tool are 20 cards, each worth 5 million gold coins. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School is indeed wealthy to have gathered this so quickly. Qian Zunji teased as he took the spirit tools. My sect will naturally do its utmost to raise the money owed to your holiness, N.A.N Fengzhai said with a forced smile, though he was secretly calculating in his heart. Sect Master N.A.N, I have a deal. I wonder if you are interested. Qian Zunji looked at him, a trace of playfulness in his eyes. N.A.N Fengzhai's heart tightened, instinctively feeling that Qian Zunji harbored no good intentions, but he could only brace himself and smile. I wonder what kind of deal your holiness is referring to. The 9 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda, Qian Zunji said slowly. I can evolve the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda into the 9 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda. What do you think of this deal? N.A.N Fengzhai snapped his head up. Your holiness, is this true? Stormy waves surged in his heart. The 9 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda was his lifelong dream. Although the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School held the title of the continent's #1 support, the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda could only be cultivated to the Spirit Saint realm at most. Across the entire continent, the strongest support spirit masters were only Spirit Duoluo, yet their support capabilities were far inferior to a 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda Spirit Master at the Spirit Saint level. Once a support spirit master broke through to become a titled Duoluo, the status of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School would be shaken. However, each floor of the 9 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda corresponds to a realm, which is enough to support cultivation all the way to titled Duoluo. As long as a support type titled Duoluo could be produced, no one would ever be able to shake their position as the world's #1 support. This seat naturally would not lie to you. Qian Zunji took out an immortal herb. It was crystal clear throughout, emitting a strange 7-colored light. It was exactly the Kai Luo tulip. This item is called the Kai Luo tulip, elegant and magnificent. Consuming it allows one to absorb the essence of heaven and earth and the brilliance of the sun and moon. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda itself belongs to the treasure class spirits. With the help of this Kai Luo tulip, it can achieve a complementary effect. This flower should not be swallowed directly. One must gently inhale the pistil to slowly absorb the essence into the body. It is a spiritual quintessence of heaven and earth. The younger and more talented the absorber, the greater the degree of evolution. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda spirit within N.A.N Fengzhai's body actually trembled slightly, conveying a strong sense of longing. He was certain that this immortal herb could truly evolve his spirit. He forcibly suppressed the excitement in his heart. As a sect master, he had to maintain his composure. What does your holiness wish to exchange it for? 30%, Qian Zunji held up 3 fingers. From now on, I want 30% of all profits from your 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. That's impossible, N.A.N Fengzhai cried out in surprise. If we give up 30% of our revenue, can the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School still be an independent sect? The sect's expenses were enormous, and the benefits and welfare were generous. Almost 70% of the revenue was distributed, leaving only 30% as annual savings. Qian Zunji was asking for an exorbitant price. How could he agree? Seeing N.A.N Fengzhai's face changing color, Qian Zunji knew his asking price was too high and changed his tune. If 30% won't do, then 25%. That is my bottom line. N.A.N. Fengzhai, think carefully. This immortal herb can evolve the 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda, so it can naturally help other support spirits transform as well. If I give it to someone else, do you think your position as the world's #1 support can still be maintained? Can it be a bit cheaper? 25% is still too high. Ning Fengzhai's brow was furrowed as he pondered privately. He absolutely could not agree to this condition. Otherwise, the 7-treasure glazed tile school would become Spirit Hall's money-making tool in the future, and the sect's finances would be under their control. Using a portion of your finances to exchange for the true #1 support spirit in the world, I think it's worth it, Kyan Zunji said indifferently. Sect Master N.A.N. thinks it's not worth it. 50 million, Ning Fengzhai gritted his teeth. Every year, the 7-treasure glazed tile school will give Spirit Hall resources worth 50 million gold coins. 70 million, this price is not high. 55 million, really can't be any more. 60 million, final price. If you don't agree, I'll just find someone else for this deal. Deal? Ning Fengzhai breathed a sigh of relief, fine sweat already appearing on his forehead. Problems that can be solved with money are not major problems in the end. Although the price was high, for the sake of spirit evolution, everything was worth it. N.A.N. Fengzhai took the Kai Luo tulip and asked again, Your Holiness, can this flower really evolve the 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda into the 9-treasure glazed tile pagoda? The younger the age and higher the talent, the better the effect of consumption, Kyan Zunji said. If it ultimately only evolves to 8 floors, I will only collect 20 million gold coins a year from the 7-treasure glazed tile school. If there is no change at all, I won't take a single gold coin. Uncle Bone, please bring Rongrong over, Ning Fengzhai said. Kyan Zunji laughed inwardly. As expected, this Kai Luo tulip would ultimately end up in her hands. Soon Bone Duluo brought a young girl over. The girl had her hair in twin buns, her skin was fair, her features delicate, and she wore a pink dress, looking lively and charming. Daddy, were you looking for me? Ning Rongrong ran to Ning Fengzhai and asked curiously. Rongrong, come here, eat this. Ning Fengzhai handed over the Kai Luo tulip. Daddy, this is a flower. You want me to eat it raw? Ning Rongrong wrinkled her small nose, looking a bit reluctant. Rongrong, be good, eat it all. Not a bit can be wasted. Ning Fengzhai's tone was solemn. Although Ning Rongrong was confused, she still obediently took the Kai Luo tulip and ate it all, from flower to root. After finishing, she licked the corners of her lips, seemingly savoring that strange fragrance. Chapter 74. The 9-treasure glazed tile pagoda, the 7-treasure glazed tile school's annual tribute. N.A.N. Rongrong sat cross-legged, absorbing the medicinal power of the Kai Luo tulip, a faint 7-colored halo swirling around her body. Kyan Zunji flicked his finger, injecting a strand of gentle energy into her body to help her refine the immortal herb. N.A.N. Rongrong had only completed her spirit awakening 2 months ago with an innate spirit power of rank 9. Half a month ago, she broke through rank 10 and absorbed a spirit ring of about 400 years. Now, she was already a rank 12 spirit master. Born into a great sect like the 7-treasure glazed tile school, she had consumed countless heaven and earth treasures since childhood, far beyond what ordinary spirit masters could compare to. Although she hadn't focused on body refining, her physical constitution far surpassed her peers. With the help of Kyan Zunji's energy, Ning Rongrong's speed in refining the immortal herb increased significantly. Kyan Zunji thought to himself that 60 million gold coins a year was equivalent to 1/8 of Spirit Hall's fiscal revenue. There could be no mistakes. Time passed quietly, from the time it takes to drink a cup of tea to the burning of an incense stick, then half an hour. 3 hours later, the spirit power fluctuations around Ning Rongrong reached their peak, and her 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda spirit emerged uncontrollably. The pagoda rotated slowly. 1 level, 2 levels, until the 8th and 9th levels appeared one after another, flowing with brilliant colors and shining more dazzlingly than ever before. 9 levels, it's the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda. It really is the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda. Ning Fengzhai's voice trembled with excitement, his eyes filled with ecstasy. Fengzhai, keep your voice down. Rongrong is still absorbing the medicinal power. Sword Duluo Chenzin quickly reminded him, though his voice also couldn't hide his joy. N.A.N Fengzhai finally snapped back to his senses and quickly covered his mouth. His eyes reddened slightly as he stared fixedly at his daughter, afraid of disturbing her. After a while longer, N.A.N Rongrong slowly opened her eyes, which sparkled with excitement. Papa, Grandpa Sword, Grandpa Bone, I've reached rank 19. Joyful smiles instantly bloomed on the faces of the 3 men. N.A.N Fengzhai stepped forward quickly and gently stroked his daughter's head. Sword Duluo also stepped forward, extending his spirit power to carefully examine her body. After a few breaths, he nodded and said, "Her foundation is solid and her spirit power is concise, as if it came from years of bitter cultivation, without the slightest hint of instability." Bone Duluo Gu Rong laughed heartily. "Good girl, you truly are the little princess of our 7 treasure glazed tile school. In such a short time, not only has your spirit evolved, but your spirit power has also increased by 7 ranks. You've really done well." "Rongrong, look above your head," Ning Fengzhai said, pointing at the spirit above her. N.A.N Rongrong looked up and counted the levels. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. 9 levels. Papa, my pagoda has 9 levels. She clapped her hands in surprise, her little face full of joy. "It is the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda now," Ning Fengzhai praised with a smile. "My Rongrong is the best. You will surely become the most powerful support spirit master on the continent in the future." Schoolmaster N.A.N, the 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda has evolved into the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda. My promise has been fulfilled, Kaiyan Zunji spoke. Many thanks to the Supreme Pontiff for his help. Ning Fengzhai cupped his hands solemnly. From now on, the 7 treasure glazed tile school will provide resources worth 60 million gold coins on time every year. There will be no arrears, and they will be delivered every year without fail. 60 million? Just how much is that? Ning Rongrong blinked her large eyes. Is that flour actually worth that much? Supreme Pontiff, why not stay at the 7 treasure glazed tile school for a few more days? Fengzhai will go and prepare the resources now, Ning Fengzhai warmly invited. Then I shall impose upon you. It so happens that I also want to see the wealthiest sect in the world, Kaiyan Zunji said. Rongrong, take the Supreme Pontiff and the others for a tour around the sect, Ning Fengzhai said to his daughter. Okay, Ning Rongrong readily agreed and skipped over to Kaiyan Rengsu. Beautiful sister, what is your name? Kaiyan Rengsu. Sister Kaiyan Rengsu, what rank is your spirit power? Rank 67. What rank 67? Ning Rongrong's eyes went wide. Sister, how old are you? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribers, and share to Infinite Novel audiobooks. 15 years old. How is that possible? Ning Rongrong's mouth hung open slightly. She then looked at Kaiyan Renshin nearby and asked curiously, Little brother, what is your name? Kaiyan Renshin glanced at her and said indifferently, How old are you? 6 years old. I've had my spirit awakening for 2 months now. Ning Rongrong puffed out her little chest. I am a few months older than you, little sister, Kaiyan Renshin said calmly. HMPH, I'm rank 19 at 6 years old. What rank are you? Ning Rongrong asked unconvinced. Rank 15. Kaiyan Renshin used all the medicinal power of the immortal herb he consumed to evolve his spirit, strengthen his physical body, and enhance his potential. He didn't use it to increase his spirit power rank, and the same was true for Kaiyan Rengsu. I'm still more impressive. You should call me Big Sister, Ning Rongrong raised her chin. I can defeat a spirit ancestor, can you? You're bragging. How could a spirit master like you possibly defeat a spirit ancestor? I'm not bragging. If you don't believe me, ask the person next to you. He knows. N.A.N Rongrong looked at Bone Duluo. seeking confirmation. Bone Duluo nodded. He is not lying. N.A.N raised her eyebrows and said nothing more. Yin watched the two children bickering with a gentle smile on her lips, finding it quite amusing. Chrysanthemum Duluo and Ghost Duluo deliberately lowered their presence and followed silently behind. Afterward, N.A.N acted as a guide and led everyone on a tour of the 7 Treasure Glaze Tile School. The spiritual plant garden was home to various rare medicinal herbs. Some had crystal-clear leaves that emitted a refreshing fragrance. Some had thick stems surrounded by a faint halo of spirit power. N.A.N pointed to a plant with small purple flowers and said, "This is spirit-condensing grass. It helps spirit masters stabilize their spirit power. I used to bathe with it often when I was little." At the martial arts arena, the ground was paved with special bluestone slabs, and many disciples were practicing. Some were sparring in pairs, their spirit abilities clashing with bursts of booming sounds. Others were practicing alone, every move and stance concentrated with spirit power. N.A.N pointed to a group of youths and said, "They are the sect's inner sect disciples. They are all pushing for the spirit elder realm. They're very impressive." The library was a pavilion built entirely of Nanmu wood and was divided into 3 levels. The first floor held records of local customs from across the continent and basic cultivation manuals for introductory disciples to browse. The second floor contained various spirit master insights and tactical analyses. The third floor housed the sect's secret auxiliary techniques, which required an elder's permission to enter. N.A.N said proudly, "There are so many books here. Papa says reading more books helps broaden one's horizons. I often come here to look for storybooks." In the forging workshop, the clanging sounds of hammering were constant. Several blacksmiths dressed in black were hammering metal with bare arms, sparks flying everywhere. The blacksmiths in our sect are very skilled. Many people from other sects come to ask them for help in forging equipment, N.A.N introduced. The viewing platform was built on the highest peak of the sect, paved with white jade and surrounded by carved railings. Standing here, the entire view of the 7 Treasure Glaze Tile School was laid out before one's eyes. Well-arranged pavilions, lush green pines and cypresses, winding mountain streams, and distant mountains shrouded in mist, looking like a fairyland. This is my favorite place to come. When the weather is good, you can see very, very far. Chapter 75, Dugubo's Breakthrough, the Morbid Bibai Dong. Leaving the 7 Treasure Glaze Tile School, Kyan Zunji and his party headed straight for the ice and fire yin-yang well. Stepping into this wondrous land, Kyan Zunji waved his hand to cast an energy barrier to protect Kyan Renshin. He was too young, and the violent ice and fire energy here would disturb him. Seeing Kyan Zunji arrive, the Spirit Hall personnel left to guard the place stepped forward to respectfully salute, their expressions solemn. Yin stood where she was, her eyes filled with shock. After arriving here, the blue-silver emperor within her became unusually active. Her bloodline seemed to be summoned, stirring and restless, as if wanting to resonate with this land. "Papa, this place is so magical." Kyan Renshin looked at the wondrous sight before him, half frozen, half scorching, and said curiously, "This is the ice and fire yin-yang well, formed by the convergence of unique ice attribute and fire attribute energies." Kyan Zunji explained, "Zio Shan, look, the water in the pool ahead is composed of these 2 completely different energies. Although they are violent, they neutralize each other, forming a unique environment. Plants growing here develop more than 10 times faster than in the outside world, and this place is also very suitable for spirit master cultivate. While it doesn't compare to the enshrinement hall, it is already a rare treasure land. Then are there many precious medicinal herbs here." Kyan Renshin's eyes lit up. "Father, leave Zio Shan to me. I can let him move around freely here for the time being," Kyan Renksu said, gathering a wisp of ice and fire energy in her hand and gently injecting it into Kyan Renshin's body. She had once consumed 2 immortal herb from the spring of the ice and fire yin-yang well, and her body had formed a small ice and fire yin-yang well of its own. Sharing a wisp of energy with N.A.N was not difficult. The energy barrier dissipated, and N.A.N moved his limbs. Sure enough, he didn't feel any discomfort. He smiled and said, "Thank you, sister." "Your Excellency, Supreme Pontiff, why have you come?" Porcupinefish Duluo walked over quickly to salute, followed by someone. "Porcupinefish, you have worked hard guarding this place all these years." N.A.N nodded. "Serving the Supreme Pontiff and sharing the burdens of Spirit Hall is my duty. It is not hard work." Porcupinefish Duluo responded respectfully, his tone sincere. "Being able to guard such a treasure land and protect Spirit Hall's resources is my honor." "Your Excellency, Supreme Pontiff, I would like to introduce someone." Porcupinefish Duluo stepped aside. "His name is Dugubo. This was originally his residence, but he later submitted to Spirit Hall. He has been reliable in his work these past few years and diligent in his duties. Last year, he advanced to an 89th rank Spirit Duluo and has the potential to become a titled Duluo. I would like to recommend him for further training in Spirit City, to add another titled Duluo to our Spirit Hall." Dugubo stepped forward, standing with his head bowed, his expression respectful, not daring to overstep in the slightest. "Elder Porcupinefish is devoted to Spirit Hall, always thinking of recruiting talent and strengthening the sect's power. This sincerity is commendable." N.A.N looked at Dugubo. "You are Dugubo. Your subordinate, Dugubo, pays respects to the Supreme Pontiff." Dugubo hurriedly bowed and saluted, his voice steady. "Follow me, both of you." N.A.N turned and walked toward the depths, and Porcupinefish Duluo and Dugubo quickly followed. "Dugubo, Spirit Hall has occupied your territory. Do you harbor any resentment?" N.A.N suddenly asked. Upon hearing this, cold sweat instantly broke out on Dugubo's forehead, and he hurriedly said, "Your subordinate would not dare. Being able to join Spirit Hall is my honor. How could I have any resentment? That this place is valued by the Supreme Pontiff is its honor, and it is also my honor. I don't care if you are sincere or fake. Since you have joined Spirit Hall, I will not treat you unfairly." N.A.N took out a medicinal pill, which floated in front of Dugubo. "This is a boundary-breaking pill. It can allow you to advance 1 rank directly, becoming a 90th rank titled Duluo, saving you years of arduous cultivate." Dugubo's pupils constricted, his face full of excitement. If this place were still his territory, with the help of the herbs here, he would have been confident of breakthrough to titled Duluo within 5 years. But now that it belonged to Spirit Hall, even if he cultivate for another 10 years, he might not succeed. From the 89th rank to the 90th rank, it seemed like only 1 rank's difference, but it had trapped countless Spirit Master. Out of 3 89th rank Spirit Duluo, it was a stroke of luck if even one could break through. This boundary-breaking pill was undoubtedly a shortcut. Moreover, he was still young. The earlier he break through to titled Duluo, the more likely he would be to advance further in the future. "Many thanks to the Supreme Pontiff. Your subordinate will serve you even unto death." Dugubo took the boundary-breaking pill with trembling hands and bowed deeply. 1 hour later, Dugubo successfully break through and became a titled Duluo. He came before N.A.N again, his expression even more respectful. "Thank you, Supreme Pontiff, for your grace. Your subordinate will serve Spirit Hall with all his might for the rest of his life." "Dugubo, if any of your descendants reach the 89th rank Spirit Duluo in the future, I can give you another boundary-breaking pill as compensation for you," N.A.N said. Dugubo was deeply moved, half kneeling on the ground, and said in a deep voice, "What virtue or ability does this subordinate have to deserve such great favor from the Supreme Pontiff? I will be loyal to the Supreme Pontiff and Spirit Hall for the rest of my life. If I have any disloyal thoughts, may heaven strike me down." N.A.N took 2 books from his spirit tool and handed one to Porcupinefish Duluo and one to Dugubo. "Elder Porcupinefish, This is the third level of the Tao Xuan scripture. Dugu Bo, this is the first and second level of the Tao Xuan scripture. This is a benefit for Spirit Hall Elder. Only Elder can cultivate it. Elder who make outstanding contributions can obtain the third level. Thank you, Supreme Pontiff. Porcupinefish Duluo and Dugu Bo thanked him in unison, taking the cultivation technique with both hands, their expressions solemn. Kyan Zunji said no more and left with his party. Dugu Bo looked down at the cultivation technique in his hand, his eyes suddenly widening, and he gasped, This. Don't make such a fuss, Porcupinefish Duluo said in a deep voice. This is a cultivation technique that only Spirit Hall Elder can practice. It is different from ordinary meditation methods and can be practiced alongside them. The first 2 levels alone will make your future cultivate speed, at least 50% faster. Dugu Bo's face was full of shock and ecstasy, and he thought to himself, This is good stuff, if I could give it to N.A.N. Dugu Bo, this thing is for your eyes only. No one else must see it, not even your children. Only Elder who have made outstanding contributions to Spirit Hall are eligible to apply for their children to practice the first level of the Tao Xuan scripture, Porcupinefish Duluo said sternly. This is the key to Spirit Hall's long-term prosperity. I hope you understand. Dugu Bo understands. I will strictly follow the rules and would never dare to spread it. Dugu Bo hurriedly composed himself and replied solemnly. Inside the Saintess Hall in Spirit City, Bibai Dong looked at the pile of official business on the table, her delicate brows tightly furrowed, her eyes filled with rage. That bastard Kyan Zunji, he's been gone for 3 months. Not coming back is one thing, but he keeps sending this junk over day and night. What does he take me for? A tool. I Bibai Dong will never let anyone manipulate me. She irritably swept a document onto the floor. Dealing with these things every day seriously affects my cultivate. I'm still stuck at the 89th rank, and that bastard doesn't even know to give me a boundary-breaking pill. Does he know how much precious cultivate time I've wasted dealing with this official business? HMPH, trying to make me a tool. Dream on. None of you will ever control me. I'm going to throw everything underneath into chaos. Not knowing what she was thinking of, Bibai Dong's legs went slightly weak, and she subconsciously clamped them tightly together, her face flushing with a strange flush. That bastard, it's been 3 months, and he still doesn't know to come back. She bit her lip, a morbid glint flashing in her eyes. When I surpass you in the future, I will definitely lock you in a secret room and cripple your cultivate. No, not cripple. I will seal your cultivate and return the humiliation you've heaped upon me 100-fold, 1,000-fold. Heh. The cold, chilling laughter echoed in the hall, carrying a touch of madness and venom. And that is it for today's chapter. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an upload. Drop a comment below. I want to know what you think is coming next. See you in the next one.
Welcome to Infinite Novel Audio. Like, subscribe, and enjoy this video. Chapter 76, Dugu Bo Undercover, Relocation of the Blue-Silver Forest. Supreme Pontiff, your subordinate is here. Dugu Bo stepped forward, his back straight, his face showing a hint of respect, yet he could not hide the sharp aura of a newly promoted titled Duluo. Now that you are a level 91 titled Duluo, I will return to Spirit City today, and you shall set off in a few days. Once you arrive at Spirit City, we will confer a title upon you. At that time, find an excuse to refuse and create some conflict. I will send Chrysanthemum Duluo to hunt you down, using the excuse that you refused to follow orders and possess a 10,000-year spirit bone, Kyan Zunji said. Supreme Pontiff, your subordinate is loyal to Spirit Hall and has absolutely no ulterior motives. Dugu Bo was shocked upon hearing this, his face turned pale instantly, and his voice trembled slightly. To do this, your subordinate is terrified. I implore the Supreme Pontiff to retract this order. As he spoke, he unconsciously took half a step back, his eyes filled with fear. It's fine, it's just for show. I won't actually try to kill you. Kyan Zunji waved his hand. Afterward, you will flee to Heaven Du City. I will arrange for Prince Yuzing to accidentally encounter you. You will then remain in Heaven Du City and help him with small tasks occasionally. Du Gubo frowned, his fingers tightly gripping his robe, his face showing hesitation. He had only submitted to Spirit Hall a few years ago and was just at the stage where he wanted to perform well. This kind of defecting act was too risky for him. Doing this will naturally affect your reputation, but I will grant you special permission to teach the first layer of the Dao Xuan scripture cultivation technique to your granddaughter, though it must never be spread to others. Additionally, your annual resources as an elder of Spirit Hall will not be reduced by a single bit, Qian Zunji added. A flash of determination crossed Du Gubo's eyes, and he bowed and responded, "Your subordinate obeys." He thought to himself, with resources and N.A.N able to cultivate the Dao Xuan scripture, a cultivation technique whose heaven-defying nature he had deeply experienced in the past few days. If N.A.N could start cultivating early, she would surely have the potential to become a titled Duluo in the future. Isn't it just acting as an undercover agent? What is reputation? He didn't care about it at all. Work hard. Spirit Hall never mistreats meritorious officials. You may go down and prepare well, Qian Zunji said. Your subordinate takes his leave. Du Gubo bowed respectfully, but when he turned to leave, his steps were still a bit unsteady. Brother Qian, Yin walked forward, twisting the corner of her clothes with both hands, wanting to speak but hesitating. Yin, feel free to speak your mind. Qian Zunji looked at her, his expression softening slightly. Brother Qian, the environment here is too suitable for plants to grow. I want to move the blue-silver forest here. Yin said softly, her eyes filled with anticipation. But the ice and fire yin-yang well is not large, and there are many blue-silver grass in the blue-silver forest. If they are all moved here, Qian Zunji pondered slightly, his tone carrying a bit of consideration. Brother Qian, I will have them stay on the periphery of the ice and fire yin-yang well, not entering the core area. Yin hurriedly explained, I have observed that there is a magical power in these two springs that constantly absorbs the surrounding energy of heaven and earth and converts it into pure ice and fire energy. I will have Lanyi and the others come here and absorb the surrounding energy of heaven and earth with all their might, feeding it back into the ice and fire yin-yang well. By then, the energy emitted by the ice and fire yin-yang well will be even greater, and even if Lanyi and the others are on the outside, they will be able to absorb the diffused energy, and their cultivation speed will naturally accelerate. You can make the decision yourself, Qian Zunji agreed. Thank you, Brother Qian. Yin smiled like a flower, the light in her eyes brighter than the water of the spring. Several hours later, Qian Zunji brought Yin to the blue-silver forest. My emperor, you have returned. Lanyi led the many blue-silver kings forward to pay respects, their branches and leaves swaying gently, their voices respectful. Lanyi, I have found a treasure land that is more suitable for the blue-silver grass clan to grow than here. Are you willing to move there? Yin asked, her tone gentle. We obey the emperor's command. The many blue-silver kings responded in unison, without the slightest hesitation. Yin looked at Qian Zunji, her eyes filled with inquiry. Qian Zunji took out 6 void mirrors and surrounded the blue-silver forest. The mirror surfaces swirled with a faint halo, emitting spatial fluctuations. Seeing this, the blue-silver king's branches and leaves tightened instantly, some even trembling slightly, clearly panicked. They had never seen such an object and felt instinctively uneasy. Lanyi, don't be afraid. This is a void mirror used for teleportation. It won't harm you. Yin hurriedly explained, her voice soft, trying to soothe them. Under Qian Zunji's control, a small piece of the blue-silver forest's land was cut, slowly rose, and was sent into the void mirror. At the ice and fire yin-yang well, the main void mirror linked with the other 2 void mirrors. Qian Renxu controlled the 3 void mirrors to steadily embed the cut land onto the periphery of the ice and fire yin-yang well. The poison barrier on the periphery also pushed outwards, expanding the boundaries of this wondrous place. The people from Spirit Hall guarding the ice and fire yin-yang well were all dumbfounded at the sight. Du Gubo couldn't help but mutter, This is actually a divine artifact that controls space. To move such a large piece of land out of thin air, such means are truly unheard of. His eyes were full of shock, and he subconsciously opened his mouth wide. Porcupinefish Duluo coughed lightly and said in a deep voice, Don't be so surprised. How could you fathom the foundation of Spirit Hall? Stay calm. Although he said this, he was secretly clicking his tongue in his heart. He had never seen such means of manipulating space, but as a senior, he couldn't let it show that he didn't know. The surrounding spirit saints and spirit Duluo also showed expressions of shock, whispering to each other, their eyes full of awe. Inside the blue-silver forest, Lan Yi watched the land under its feet constantly disappearing. Despite Yin's explanation, it was still hard to hide its nervousness. Its branches and leaves were taut, staring closely at the void mirror, fearing any accidents. Several hours passed, and the entire blue-silver forest was moved to the periphery of the ice and fire yin-yang well. Kai and Zunji held Yin, and with the help of the void mirror, returned to the ice and fire yin-yang well instantly. At this time, on the periphery of the ice and fire yin-yang well, the blue-silver forest was lush and green, forming a second natural barrier that echoed with the first layer of poisonous mist, guarding this wondrous place even more tightly. Lan Yi, from now on, you will live here. Below is the ice and fire yin-yang well. You blue-silver kings can enter 3 at a time, taking turns to cultivate.